Rebels Motley on the road, and now back at home tonight and next week, where it'll be homecoming week next week here in Hawley. But the Nuggets, a tough opponent here tonight with the DGF Rebels in town. We'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll hear from the head coach of the Hawley Nuggets, Peter Nass, will join us on our pregame show, and we'll talk about the section picture and how things are looking in our pregame as well, as the Nuggets and the Rebels get set to do battle on yourliveevent.com. Welcome back to Dale Skeller Athletic Complex. The Hawley Nuggets hosting the DGF Rebels here tonight. Let's get into our pregame coaches' comments as I have a chance to catch up with the head coach of the Nuggets this week.
That's the way. That'd be good. For that one.
Are you filming for? Yeah, you should be able to go up there. There's a spot kind of in the middle, open, so you should. Yeah, go up there. Good luck. You need help. Okay. There should be a spot in the middle that's open, so you and Hawley rather can.
Is he going to behave?
Scroll over.
Where will our two little coaches?
So there's a spot for the door coaches on. They'll be on the left side. And your midfield will be in the middle. But you can be with the coaches too. But the middle spot will be.
I just have their snacks.
Okay. Sounds
You
good.
know, that is
How's your week?
What do you got?
Well, I was a bachelor all week. My wife's on the way home from
I'm like on
Bismarck
like
at school.
17 of coffee today.
So you showed up today, right? Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it was. Oh yeah. That's pretty much missed the day of school with. Checking my back. Did physical and I play a bunch of other things. And here we are Friday night, so.
Sophomore quarterback, but something that you'll probably kind of look at as far as something to maybe spread things out.
Yeah, if DGF is going to do what they've done against teams that are similar to us, we think we have a pretty good offensive game plan. Get the ball out quickly. Making sure Noah has his pre-snap reads and the ball goes quickly. And when we do have a moving pocket or get him on the move, that he's going to be able to buy some time and get some space and get the ball either downfield at a distance, or obviously the other option is to go short or medium. So just find where we think there's going to be an open spot and then bounce on down from there and just make things happen.
And this week, like you said, coming in thin, more opportunities for some of these younger guys to really show what they've got and try and step in there and do the job for you.
Well, this is a game of taking advantage of your opportunities, and anytime you get a chance to play, if you're not ready to go, it's going to show on the field, and that just results in less playing time. And if you're ready to go and you do what you're supposed to do, whether you make the play or not, but follow through with your responsibility on the field, that just increases your momentum and your forward progress and keeps you on the field longer. So these kids are going to have a great opportunity this week, and this is a great opportunity for this football team right now to really step up through some adversity and just let it all hang out. We're getting to the end of the season. It's a short season the way it is, and we're down to less than 6 real practices, and the season, regular season, is going to be over. So that's a great opportunity for a lot of these kids, and I hope they all take advantage of it and have a great game.
As always, Coach, appreciate the time. Good luck tonight.
All right, thank you very much.
Peter Natz, head coach of the Hawley Nuggets, joining us on our pregame show as the Hawley Nuggets host the DGF Rebels tonight in high school football action. Week number 6 it is. We'll take a break. We'll come back, talk about how the season has been going, and also take a look at the upcoming games for these two teams and the action around the area for Section 8AA of games that are happening here, and kind of an outlook of the section as a whole when we return on our pregame show on yourliveevent.com.
Welcome back to our pregame show here from Hawley, Dale Skeller Athletic Complex. The Hawley Nuggets come in with a record of 2-3, as mentioned, bouncing off of a 3-game losing streak that they had against Osakis, Crookston, and West Central area. Victory last week, 46-7 on the road against Staples Motley, AA team, but up in Section 6. Now a very tough task here tonight with DGF in town, an 8-3A team coming in with a record of 5-0 on the year. I've come up with some quality wins over Thief River Falls, Pequot Lakes, and a nail-biter there in week number 2. Used to be in Section 8, now over to Section 7 for Pequot Lakes, but definitely a battle there, 36-34 in week number 2. Perham, East Grand Forks, and Park Rapids area, the other victories for DGF. Hawley Nuggets will close out the year with 2 more games next week, homecoming week, when they will host Breckenridge, and then Barnesville will be a road game for them on MEA week on Wednesday, October 19th. So less than 2 weeks away from the end of the regular season here for these teams going on. As for DGF, they will be at Fergus Falls next week for their next action, and then we'll finish off at home in Glendon against Detroit Lakes on Wednesday, October 19th. So that's the schedule of how things are looking. As far as the standings go for 8AA currently, Barnesville sits on top with a 5-0 record. Pelican Rapids is sitting at number 2 right now with a 4-1 record. If things hold tight at that point, they would both get a bye coming into the playoffs, as there's only 6 teams in the section, so every game is important going in to the regular season. Crookston sits at number 3 right now with a 2-3 record. They got a victory over Frazee last week that helped position them in that spot, as Frazee at 3-2, but a section win there for Crookston was a big one, as Frazee ranked number 4 right now. Hawley is in the 5 spot with a 2-3 record, and Warroad sits at the bottom. They host Ada Borup West tonight. They're at 1-4 for Section 8AA. As far as the section goes, it looks like this. Crookston is hosting East Grand Forks tonight in terms of 8AA games. Frazee is at Thief River Falls. As mentioned, Warroad hosting Ada Borup West. Barnesville is at Detroit Lakes tonight. That should be a good battle. And Pelican Rapids is at Park Rapids tonight for high school football. Those are the 8AA teams that are in the same section as your Hawley Nuggets here, as we bring you the coverage on yourliveevent.com for the Nuggets and the Rebels here this evening. As far as the standings go, too, for this DGF team, DGF sitting on top in 8-3A with a 5-0 record. Perham is behind them with a 3-2 record. East Grand Forks is at 2-3. Thief River Falls, Fergus Falls, and Rosa all sitting at 1-4 in that order in the section, and then Park Rapids at the bottom at 0-5 for 8-3A. So DGF definitely in the driver's seat for 8-3A right now as we enter into Week 6 here this evening. It should be an interesting matchup here. Nathan Stoa joining me once again this week. As always, it's fun to get a chance to chat with you and get the analysis of the games. And I tell you what, this is going to be a tall task for the Nuggets tonight, especially with that running game that DGF brings with this Jordan Summers.
Yeah, absolutely. Jordan Summers is a load, and everything Coach Nat says is true when you look on film. I mean, he's a tough runner. He falls forward. It seems like every time. But if you're going to hand out an MVP on the offensive side right now, I think you got to give it to the 5 to 7 guys that are up there blocking for him. You know, DGF is typically heeled or ankle to ankle there. There's no splits between their linemen, but they come at you and they are physical and they are mean, just the right amount of mean and for a football team. And so it's that physicality up front that really propels that run game. And the guy toting the rock back there is right up there with the best that we've seen this year. But this is the best unit of down linemen that we have seen to this point, and that's, as far as I'm concerned, it's not even close.
Yeah, some big boys up front, and like you say, with the numbers, you look at this, very impressive. After 5 games, Jordan Summers, 145 carries, 1,107 yards total, 14 touchdowns of the team's 25 this year, all on the ground. Yards per game, he averages 221.4. Next in line is Nicholas Hawley with an average of 54.2 on 48 carries and 271 yards this season. So you look at Jordan Summers' average per game is more than their total yards passing this year, which is 218 yards. Owen Leach, their quarterback, 15 of 29 in the air. So don't pass a lot, but they are definitely a team that can go to the air. But you can see they really rely on that running game. But like you say, with that offensive line, they do their job. You're trusting them that they're going to get the job done, and it's shown.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, as you just mentioned, the ace in the hole back there is the guy that can get you 30 points and 12 rebounds any night in the winter with phenomenal athletic ability, and he'll be the tallest guy out there on the field. And so the things that he can do on both sides, but offensively, they don't ask for much out of him offensively, but that still leaves you another athlete that is out there that can absolutely make plays when called upon.
Should be an interesting contest here tonight defensively. Nuggets got to be ready to rock and roll right from the start. They need to wrap up, and kind of a similar matchup like we saw a few weeks ago when we were at home with Crookston and this Ethan Bowl. That was tough to take down. It's going to be a similar scenario, not quite as big as far as the frame goes, but the footwork is going to be pretty darn good quality in the backfield here tonight for this DGF Rebel football team. Looking forward to the contest. It should be a fun one here tonight. We'll still take a look at our starting lineups here this evening for the Nuggets and the Rebels. But just football season in general, it's a fun time. It's a good time for the student athletes that are involved here tonight. This is a special week for myself and for anybody that's been coached by my old coach back in the past. I wanted to dedicate this broadcast here tonight to my old coach, Les Drexel. This week marks 22 years since the passing of Coach Drexel at the age of 67 due to cancer. The Monday of homecoming week, my senior year in Red Lake Falls. Drex coached high school football for 40-plus years, was 42 years total, compiled a record of 264, 119, and 9 between his stints as head coach of Parker's Prairie, Ada, Crookston, and finishing in my alma mater of Red Lake Falls. A stellar coaching career reserved him a spot in the Minnesota Football Coaches Association Hall of Fame, but more important than wins and losses, Drex taught life lessons I carry with me every day. He saw the best in you when you didn't think anything of yourself, and I know this from personal experience. Drex would get on you when he saw potential that was untapped. Even when you felt like you were giving enough, he could see there was more. An important lesson I learned from this man was that it's not to be nervous or scared when he's yelling at you to do better. It's when he stops yelling at you that you should be most concerned. That means he's given up on you. I learned a lot more valuable lessons from Coach Drexel as well. He taught me that football, much like life, is 90% mental, 10% physical, meaning you can do anything you set your mind to if you believe you can and have faith in the journey. He taught me that even when I struggle, others will be there to support you and lift you up. You have to trust and allow them to help you. He taught me that even when I may not be the best football player on the field, I can be the best teammate by being the one who supports the guys next to me no matter what. He taught me that failure is only final if you decide that's how you want to finish. He taught me that success is not accomplished by individual stats or wins and losses. It is the lasting relationships you build with not only your teammates and coaches, but with your opponents as well that will make the most difference throughout your life. He also taught me one of the most important things a coach can teach, to lead by example. Drex was a man of faith, and that's what I admired most about him. He saw the best in everyone, even if they did not. He believed in your ability to do good and contribute to your team, your school, and your community with hard work, determination, and respect. In our pregame prayer, he would pray for us as a team, for our opponents, for our coaches, officials, and for the safety of our parents and other fans driving to and from the game. Much like myself back then, at the high school age, you may not truly understand or see how much a coach is impacting your life right at that moment, but trust me, you'll realize it day in and day out as you grow up, as long as you listen and really try to see and understand the majority of coaches have your best interest in mind. One of my favorite statements Coach Drexel made to us as a team was, your attitude reflects the impact you make as a person. A positive attitude will result in a positive impact to those around you. This is important to remember when you're a team. I'm thankful every day, but especially this week, for the role models like Coach Drexel I was blessed to be growing up with. His positive impact is still shining through 22 years later. To help me honor the memory of Les Drexel, the last thing I want to do is challenge you to take some time and thank just one person who has impacted you in some way. Whether it was recently or years ago, tell them what they mean to you. Nights like this were what Drexel lived for, seeing student athletes perform under the lights on a Friday night. This evening is no different. The broadcast you'll hear and view tonight between the DGF Rebels and Hawley Nuggets on your live event is being dedicated to my former high school football coach, Les Drexel, whose legend lives on forever. Back here at Dale Scholarwood Athletic Complex, the Nuggets and the Rebels will get set to do battle here in just a little bit. Thanks for being with us for our coverage. Kurt Fillion along with Nathan Stoa bringing you the coverage here tonight, and coverage made possible by the many sponsors you've been seeing here during our breaks that we have. We ask that you patronize them at the very least. Tell them thank you. They've gone through the starting lineups. We'll look at the lineups when we come back as well and get set for the action. The DGF Rebels come in undefeated at 5-0, taking on the Hawley Nuggets at 2-3 on YourLiveEvent.com, powered by Halstead Telephone Company and R&J Broadcasting Incorporated. Back here at Dale Scholarwood Athletic Complex, getting you geared up for the DGF Rebels at the Hawley Nuggets here tonight. Thanks for being with us for our coverage as we will get set for the kickoff here in just a moment. Nuggets getting into their huddle and DGF over on their side as well. Nice night for some high school football here, Nathan Stoa.
This is fall. This is fall.
This is
It's
what it's all about.
little crisp. You got to decide how many layers you're going to wear. Guys deciding sleeves or not as they're playing. But this is fall football. We are officially in that transition.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been we've been pretty good in terms of our weather conditions we've been having so far here, and looks like it's going to warm up even a little bit into next week. So it should be closing out the regular season with some decent weather too. Nuggets will be kicking things away here to get things going here, so they'll be on the defensive side. DGF will look at their offense when they get up to the line and get things started. As in the backfield, they've got Mr. Jordan Summers back there, along with Case Majewski. So it will be a DGF receiving to get things going here tonight. And it will be Cade Peterson wearing that number 1 for the Hawley Nuggets, kicking this one away. Again, doing our camera duty here tonight, Ben Grunke back with us again, and he was with us in that second game of the year, and back for it once again here tonight as the DGF Rebels take a squib kick up the middle, and they are going to have possession to start things off right around their own 40-yard line. It'll be marked at the 41, first down and 10 for the DGF Rebels.
All right, time to see how committed, as usual, DGF is to the run game, but more importantly here, how Hawley comes out to attack that Rebel offensive line in the run game. Biggest thing about defensive football especially, but both sides of the ball, is do your job and trust the other guys and build the other guys up to do theirs. So let's see how our leaders lead right now in this first possession.
Quarterback for DGF is Owen Leach. He's dropping back to pass right away. Rolls to the right side. Ball's going to be deflected. The defense there for the Hawley Nuggets. Nice job in the backfield to stop that one as the intended receiver, Brody O'Keefe, for an incomplete pass.
Yeah, so they decided to go away from it. Little rollout for Leach there. Hawley reacted, and that was some of the better pass coverage we've seen this year. Not a single guy leaked out, so Leach was forced to try to, thread the needle.
Brody Friend in the backfield along with Jordan Summers for this DGF offense here tonight. And they've also got as a tight end on their right side, Brody O'Keefe, as they're going to go with a hand up the middle, and it's going right to Summers, the man they've gone to many times here this year. In fact, that's his 146th carry of the season as we enter into game number 6, and that's going to be a nice gain of 8 yards.
Yeah, big hole on the right side of the DGF offensive line. We're going to determine a lot based off of how many times we call our safeties and our corners on tackles here tonight.
Go back in that shotgun again. Leach will hand it off. Summers, a little shake and bake there, trying to get it the outside. He's wrapped up by Peterson initially, and it's going to be a couple of other Hawley Nuggets coming in to make that tackle as Levi Lelm helped to finish off that play. It's well enough for that first down, though it's a gain of about 6 yards on the play for the Rebels to get into Hawley territory.
Yeah, offensive line doing its job early. And I'm gonna edit my previous comment right now as DGF stays in that tight formation. The corners are basically another set of effective linebackers here. So if we're calling Lelman and Kopacek on too many tackles here, that means we're not getting the job done in those front two groupings.
Up front on the line, Victor Sosa for DGF along with Max Baumgartner. We got Aiden Adine in there along with Bryce Fisher. There's a handoff again going straight up the middle, and not a whole lot doing this time for Nick Wally. Wally is going to get back to the line of scrimmage, so no gain on the play on the fourth play from possession here for DGF.
A counter play there. Jack Ames stayed home, shed his block, and was able to make a solo tackle.
Drew Sheely out there as a wing as well, along with Colton Wagner up on the line. And I believe I mentioned Bryce Fisher. He's their center tonight for DGF up on that offensive line. So some big boys, though, that they've got from 270, 260, a couple 260ers, 215. They've got some good size. Handoff goes left side. Summers eludes a couple of would-be tacklers. He's going to get all the way to the Hawley 30-yard line from the 45. So that's going to be a gain of 15 yards on the play and another first down for the DGF Rebels.
It was a great job on the left side of the DGF line there as they were able to turn in Ryan Spear, and that allowed the Rebels to set the edge that they needed there for the big chunk gain.
1st and 10 it'll be from the Hawley 31-yard line. DGF marching it down. We're just over a couple minutes into the ball game. DGF will hand it off to Summers, straight up the middle. Was waiting for those blockers to establish, and nice patience pays off for him as he's going to get close to that first down again. He's pretty much right at the mark, maybe a little bit short. It'll be a 9-yard gain to make it 2nd down and 1.
Yeah, you called it correct. Patience was the word there. He doesn't have to. Right now, with the fact that the DGF offensive line has our down linemen on skates here, there isn't a whole lot of fancy stuff Summers needs to do. He just simply needs to stay patient and hit his hole.
The Rebels taking their time in that huddle on that 2nd down and 1 it's going to be. Marching down the field as they started back at their own 41-yard line. This will be their 7th play of the offensive series. Back to pass, Leach looking down the field. Some pressure put on now, has some time, airs it out, and it's going to be a reception, and I think he was still in bounds. Devon Stock was right there on the coverage coming up off of that play defensively, and was he out? He was out of bounds. A good defensive effort there in the backfield there by Stock.
Yeah, hard to tell with the grade sometimes there on the far sideline whether we're still in or out, but I really like that aggressiveness out of DGF because in 3rd and short here, deep in Nugget territory, they got 2 downs to pick up a yard with that run game. So, test out the arm a little bit as long as Leach is able to not make a mistake.
I was going to say shortest gain that they've had so far is 6 yards that Summers had, and this one is well over 6. He's going to gain about 11 on that play. So another double-figure gain for Jordan Summers, a third first down of this offensive series for DGF. And they march it a little bit closer, threatening here with 8:35 to play first quarter.
Trying to be the body language coach right now. There's a couple out there, and some of our younger guys I'm seeing slump shoulders already. And I know it is absolutely not an easy task, but it's one they need to be up for here to shed that block and do their job, stay in their gaps, and make a play.
Especially early on. That's one thing we talked about in the pregame interview with Coach Nats, is coming out with the energy and continuing that, sustaining that throughout the game. As a nice tackle made here in the backfield against the running back, Bodie DeVries, who got the carry there for DGF, and no gain on the play, so a nice defensive stop there for the Nuggets.
And that was the first time DGF has attempted to attack the edge that Johnny Vetter sets. That time Vetter came up the field, held his contain exactly as he is supposed to do from his end position, and Braxton Bowe filled and made a play. So continue to do your job and be physical up front.
And actually a loss on the play of 1, so 2nd down and 11 it will be for DGF in that same stacked formation in the backfield. They'll hand it off to Summers, waits for the lead blockers. Nice block coming from behind. Summers bounces to the outside, getting close to that first down marker. And I think he got pushed out of bounds right before it, or is it right after? Looked like he stepped out of bounds right before, so it'll be a 3rd down and short, about a 10-yard gain on the play for Jordan Summers, but he needed 11, so it'll be a 3rd down and 1.
So it'll be interesting to see here if they just decide they move the down marker back here. So about 3rd and 2, is this a time for a play action rollout? Maybe run Leach on some sort of boot, or if they're just going to keep it simple and continue with the Summers train.
3rd down and 2 it'll be instead as far as where they mark this ball. So again, give it 9 for Summers on that previous play. Handoff goes straight up the middle. Summers trots his way in there for the touchdown. A 5-yard touchdown run for Jordan Summers to get the DGF Rebels on the board on an 11-play drive that started back at the DGF 41-yard line.
And the only plays that didn't work were the plays that weren't carried by number 1.
Exactly. Shows the power and that strength that he's got here. Coming in with the 7 carries already. He averages just under 30 carries per game at 29 coming into this game tonight. So 2-point conversion attempt for the Rebels coming up. Summers trying to go into the middle. He's going to be stuffed on the play, and the Nuggets will make the stop. So the two-point conversion will fail, but DGF does get on the board first and leads 6-0 on your community co-op scoreboard. DGF leads the Hawley Nuggets here on yourliveevent.com. Welcome back to Dale Skellerud Athletic Complex. 6-0 DGF leads after an 11-play drive that capped off with the 6:50 mark here in this first quarter. A 5-yard touchdown run by Jordan Summers, who had 7 of the 9 carries. They had 2 passing attempts as well, both incomplete for DGF on that first offensive series. Rebels will get set to boot it away. It'll be Leach kicking this one, a line drive shot that bounces at the 40. And is going to be taken by the Nuggets. Carson Kopacek will jump on that one at the 35-yard line, and that's where the Nuggets will have it. 1st down and 10.
All right, so now, when I got to talk to Coach Nats earlier, this isn't a run the ball only to control the clock, but this is going to be lean on your veteran running backs, and but also try to get Noah established with some shorter pass routes to stay consistent and keep that ball moving, but hold on to possession.
1st down and 10 it'll be from the Hawley 34-yard line, as they'll set up in a shotgun formation with wings out to each side. Into the backfield, Tibbetts will go to reestablish, and a receiver on that left side in Zach Liebach. Handoff goes up the middle, and this is going to be not a whole lot going for the Hawley Nuggets. Vetter is going to get just beyond the line of scrimmage there. He'll gain a couple yards on the play. It'll be a 2nd down and 8.
Be important here now to get enough push to let those dynamic backs do their job, but it's got to stay even with those chains and continue to move the ball in positive plays here for the Nugget offense.
Nuggets, same formation. Lelm will come in motion there to accompany his quarterback, Noah Nelson, who barks out the signals here, trying to get DGF to move up front to no avail. Right side, he'll pass, and the completion was almost there as the defense got there really quick. Boy, a big defensive hit there by Drew Sheely coming in almost out of nowhere on that play to get a good hit and force the incompletion.
Well, DGF plays, it looks like a cover 3. They're pretty far off the line there, so Stoll ran a stop route, and Planted came back for it. That's a good ball. He has to haul that in. That's not just his dad talking. That's everybody talking, and he knows it too.
And that's one of those things where it's you read the defense, you see, like you say, when they've got a few more steps back than what maybe you'd normally see, but they're showing where they want to get that kind of head of steam and get a good lick on you when the ball is coming towards you. Nelson will roll to the right side, airs this one out. Tibbetts, reception at the 45-yard line. Oh, then he got it popped loose by Leach at the 50-yard line. To the Nuggets' benefit, it rolled out of bounds. So it will stay Nugget football with a 15-yard gain on that play.
That grade in the field I was complaining about came in handy there as the ball kept its momentum on the fumble out of bounds, so the Nuggets will keep the yardage. Good pop by Leach coming up there. Stoll ran his guy off on more of a go route or a longer fade. The flood routes came across the formation. Tibbetts was open, and Noah Nelson 2 for 2 on good deliveries here so far.
Nuggets moving the chains, and it'll be rolled out of bounds right before the 50-yard line, so it'll be placed at the Nugget 49-yard line with 5:56 to play in the first quarter. Nuggets trail 6-0, and we got a timeout for Hawley. Community Co-op scoreboard 6-0. DGF leads Hawley on yourliveevent.com with R&J Broadcasting Incorporated and Halstead Telephone Company. Nuggets come out of the timeout. They'll hustle up with the huddle here. They'll have a first down and 10 at their own 49-yard line. After their first down, this will be their fourth play of the offensive series. DGF scored on a 5-yard touchdown run by Jordan Summers, capping off an 11-play drive to get things started here tonight in Hawley. Shotgun formation as Tibbetts will step back in motion. Receiver off left, and now man in motion is going to be Lelm. He'll hand it off to Tibbetts, right side, tries to find some room, and he's able to squirt free, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds into DGF territory. Looked like there wasn't going to be a whole lot doing there as he was wrapped up pretty well at the line of scrimmage, uses that powerful running game that he's got with Tibbetts, keeps the legs chugging, and he gains 2 yards on the play.
Yeah, the initial hole looked like it was plugged there, but Derek was able to keep his shoulder pads squared and slide down the line until he found a little bit of a crack there to gain a couple.
So second down and 8 will be for the Hawley Nuggets into DGF territory, just a step over to that side on their 49-yard line. Shotgun formation, Nelson will bark it out with a man in motion right to left, or top to bottom. Lelm, as they'll look down the field, Nelson has a little bit of time, airs this out, and it's going to be over the head of the intended receiver there, Zach Liebach, the sophomore, and incomplete, but a good look as the pressure was coming on there by the DGF Rebels.
Yeah, John Vetter did a good job to give Nelson some extra time. All right, he was able to keep him free of that one rusher. Didn't quite get his feet set or get his hips flipped there to try to deliver that ball to Zach. If Zach was a little deeper in the zone, it might have made it easier for him. But once again, good composure by Nelson on that one.
So Stowell will come out wide on the left side. And we've got some confusion here, and it looks like the Nuggets are going to have to use their second of 3 timeouts they're allowed in the first half. Timeout, Community Co-op scoreboard 6-0. DGF leads Hawley with 5:41 to play in the first quarter. We're back with more on yourliveevent.com right after this. Still a third down situation here for the Nuggets out of the timeout. They had to figure some things out, a little confusion that was going on. A little miscue or whatever it was, but regardless, coaching staff not happy about it as we got a two wings set and a back in the backfield in Vetter as their fullback here tonight. Nelson fakes the handoff, airing it out right side, finds his receiver Lelm. He's going to be met in the backfield, and he is going to lose a couple on the play back to the original line of scrimmage. So that is going to make it a 4th down and 10 for the Nuggets.
Yeah, I'm not sure the timing was exactly the way that they wanted it on that one as Lelm came with that deep motion for that swing route. Noah looked right his way, but the DGF linebacker was definitely not fooled, and he stayed home.
A good job defensively as they got the loss on the play, and the ball put right at the 50-yard line here for the Nuggets. So they'll have to get set to punt this one away, as Carson Kopacek is going to be doing those duties here tonight. Jordan Summers is back to retrieve it as it's going to be kicked away here. It'll bounce at the 35-yard line. It's all maroon jerseys there as they'll just down it at the 33 where it bounces. It's Braxton Bowe downing that. So DGF will take over offensively here with 4:49 to play in the first quarter.
Yeah, the bad snap there. No connection on that. Carson did a good job to catch it in the air. Thankfully for the Nuggets, DGF wasn't coming with any sort of pressure on that, or any sort of punt rush there. So not the field position gain that Hawley was hoping for.
So 1st down and 10 at their own 33-yard line. Rebels with the 6-0 lead here on yourliveevent.com from Dale Scholarwood Athletic Complex in Hawley. The Nuggets hosting in week 6 as the handoff goes to Summers. Still using that patience again as he's got those shifty moves, and it's waiting for 1, 2, 3, 4 blockers down the field and just staying behind those white jerseys as they get in front of them one by one. It seems like they just kind of come there in almost a single file mission after that initial hit on the front line.
Yeah. Nuggets sent a blitz off the near side this time, but they've only challenged this side and John Vetter one time so far. Might be interesting to see if the Nuggets flip that blitz and that attack to the left side of the DGF attack, the right side of the defense, to see if they can't find any run fits as we go.
2nd and 2 after an 8-yard gain. Handoff goes this time to Nick Wally, and Wally is going to make it beyond the 50-yard line. He'll fall forward to the Nuggets' 48-yard line. That's going to be a gain of 12 yards on the play. So easily gets that 1st down and moves the chains here for DGF.
Fantastic job again by that left side of the DGF line. They got to the 2nd level, and they had the Nugget linebackers on their heels, and driving them back till first contact was well after the yards to gain for the 1st down.
To the Nuggets' 49-yard line, 1st down and 10. The 6-0 lead for DGF. They'll hand it off straight up the middle. Summers. Not a whole lot happening this time. He just kind of plunges forward. Thought he had a hole. That was closed in pretty good by the Hawley defense. Got in there pretty quick, but still a gain of almost 40 yards on the play for Summers.
Yeah, it was better job there. Better job there by the Nuggets. Now they're rotating a little bit on the defensive line. So Alex Paulson and I think Tyler Girai back in there. Alex had a rough game with some of those lateral teams, but this DGF team might be the time for him to step up and shine.
Handoff again, Summers, straight up the middle. And again, looks like it's gonna be about another 3 or 4 yard gain there for Summers. It was clogged up pretty good by the Hawley defense, not allowing a whole lot to happen that time. So the 4 yard gain to start on the previous play. And they'll just add a couple more on that play for Jordan Summers. That is his 10th carry for 78 yards here in the first quarter.
I'll finish my thought there, and I felt kind of prophetic because Alex did his job there. He didn't get pushed off. He was able to meet at attack, and the linebacker or the lineman wasn't able to get to the linebacker off of him. It's going to be a little more his game as they come straight ahead.
Handoff Summers left side, and he is going to just push his way forward there as Tibbetts was trying to get in there along with Stock as they were coming in with a head of steam. And I think he came up a little bit short on that play. It looked like he was tripped up a little bit in the backfield, stumbling forward, trying to just lower his shoulder there and go forward and use that momentum, but didn't work enough. He got a gain of 4. He needed 5.
Yeah, I actually thought they got a pretty generous spot there, but maybe I blinked or looked away at the wrong time. I thought his knee I thought he hit a little bit closer to the 40-yard line here, but we're going to get 4th and short here. So this is a big play for Hawley. See if they can do anything that stops, but this is also where you get that 6'5" quarterback with the potential sneak.
Yeah, handoff going straight up the middle, and they'll easily get that first down. Again, it's Wally getting that one for DGF. He needed less than a yard, and he ended up getting about 6 on that play. So another first down, keep the offensive series alive here for this DGF offense. They had an 11-play drive to start off here tonight. This will be their 7th play of this offensive drive, close to the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, they're not trying to do anything fancy. There's no showing off here. This is just that grit and grind DGF football. Trust your offensive line, trust your dynamic back, and eat the clock away as you contain possession.
Ryan Spear came off on the defensive side for Hawley as Blake Bigger, the sophomore, comes in, getting an opportunity here for the Nuggets late in this first quarter. A snap goes over the head of Leach. Actually it was under his chin. I wouldn't say over his head. That's kind of tough to get over that 6'6" frame. Regardless, he mishandled it a little bit on that play, on that snap that went out of his reach. And that is a big loss there for DGF, as that's going to drop him back about 11 yards to the 43-yard line.
All right, so now Hawley's got to stiffen up here. DGF made a mistake. It's okay to let the other team make a mistake every once in a while, but now you got to take advantage of it. Get them out of their comfort zone. Take advantage of a pass play or just stop the run.
Back to pass. Leach rolling to that left side, has some room down that left side himself, and uses that long stride to get closer to the original line of scrimmage. He lost 10 on the previous play. He'll gain those 10 back and make it a 3rd down and 10 here for DGF as he goes out of bounds, stops the clock momentarily with 29 seconds remaining first quarter, and a 6-0 lead for DGF. But the Hawley defense has done a really nice job of stepping up and forcing them into some tough spots here in this first quarter.
Well, that last play there where they were able to get the 9 back, Vetter came up the field on his side and he contained. They rolled out the other side. Bigger got caught inside from his defensive end position. I believe he's supposed to contain there and trust the linebackers to fill.
Handoff goes right up the middle there for Brody Friend, and Friend is going to get a very nice gain on that play. In fact, of the 10 that he needed, he got a couple extra beyond that for a gain of 12 for Brody Friend, and I think everybody was just so used to seeing number 1 get that ball. All of a sudden firing in there was the junior Brody Friend and capitalizing on his opportunity to carry that football.
Yeah, Summers isn't their only weapon. He's just the main guy, but that's an early backbreaker at the end of the first half where DGF puts themselves in a hole, and then one non-contain and another big run, and we're back to 1st and 10 from the 20 when we start the second quarter.
End of the first, Community Co-op scoreboard. DGF hanging on to a 6-0 lead over Hawley on yourliveevent.com. Second quarter starting up here with DGF, a 6-0 lead. Their score came at 6:50 remaining in the first quarter, capping off an 11-play drive. Jordan Summers scored that one on a 5-yard touchdown run. Summers with 82 yards in that first quarter of play on 11 carries for the DGF Rebels. Nick Wally has 3 carries for 18 yards. Leach with a couple carries for no yards. Brody Friend with a carry for 12 yards for DGF. Handoff goes left side. Summers trying to find some room. Boy, that's a wall of maroon. Saying, I don't think so. You're not going this way. You're not going that way. They were mirroring him on that play. A nice job by the Hawley defense once again to stop their key man, Jordan Summers.
Yeah, that time Tibbetts read the play from his backer position and came down the line. Ryan Spear is in now at the to our formation here on the near side of the field at end, and he did his job to contain. And that's exactly what Coach Nats talked to me about earlier. Do your job and trust others to do their job. and build them up if there's a mistake. But you can't, in football, especially on defense, you cannot try to do too much.
2nd down and 13 it will be here for DGF. Leach going to keep it himself. I don't know if there was a miscommunication there on trying to go for the handoff or if he was supposed to keep it on that play regardless. The Nuggets taking advantage defensively and coming up with a nice stop and no gain on that play for DGF.
I think that was just a design quarterback blast to the left side. Same spots that Summers been gashing, but the Nuggets, coming out of the second quarter here, that's 2 really positive plays. DGF's behind the chains. I mean, they got 2 downs to gain this here, so this is going to be big rollout time potentially for Leach. So Ends, Vetter, and Spear need to contain.
You can see the confidence level boosting up here for the Nuggets too, as Leach trying to find some room as he didn't have anybody down the field. Now he's got some space. Lelm trying to make the tackle, wraps him up on the legs, and it's going to be a nice gain on the play for the DGF Rebels. In fact, he's going to get that first down, make it a 1st and goal for the Rebels. As he needed about 13 yards, he got 3 extra. He had 16 yards on that play for Owen Leach.
And Vetter did his job that time to contain. The fill just wasn't there, but Johnny did not let him get outside on the far side of the field. And Leach, like we said, you've got Summers, you got that big old line, and then you've got 6'6" and incredibly athletic back there moving around. So just another DGF weapon.
And that is just a situation, too, that's just deflating when you have so many good things going on, and all of a sudden that happens. You get a big play, and they get right back into it, especially when they're deep in your own zone. We'll just keep it right here during this timeout that we've got going on with 10:27 to play first half. But, boy, you have so many great things happening, so many things on your defensive end. That one big play here, Nathan, can make just a huge impact for your defense and the confidence level.
Yeah, it's time to dial it up here, and again, just keep building and keep getting better, keep improving, and this is a time for the Nuggets to dig their heels in and respond to the physicality of the Rebels.
Facing a 1st down and goal now at their own 6-yard line. As I believe it was an injury situation, not an actual timeout.
I think Levi Lelm, I'm hoping it was just the wind knocked out of him, or maybe he landed on Leach's foot potentially in the tackle.
Handoff goes straight up the middle here for DGF, as I don't think it was enough to get in there. It was going to be a gain. It will be a gain, but only a few yards on the play.
And again, Nuggets on that one. The backside of the defense here, or our near side, stayed home on that one. That was a relatively simple trick play, but everybody was flowing to the right, and Leach was able to make that handoff to the backside of the line. But nice play that time by Hawley. We just got to put a bunch of them together here. We've had them here hit and miss. We need to clump these big plays together.
It'll be a 2nd down and goal at the 5-yard line after a couple-yard gain on that play. Leach will get under center. This back's back there. They'll hand it off. This is going to be Whaley. He'll try and make his way in, dives in, and it's not going to be getting it across the goal line anyway. It's going to be another nice stop there for the Hawley Nuggets. It will be another gain. Get them a little bit closer to that goal line, but still a couple yards away. It'll be a 3rd down and goal from the 2.
Yeah, Carson Kapacha came up and met him at the line. Tibbetts scraped down the line as well, so that they were able to hold him out of the end zone here. So live another play without points on the board for the Rebels.
This is going to be the 16th play of this offensive drive for the DGF Rebels. That started with 4:49 left in the first quarter, back at their own 33. Straight up the middle, Leach going to take it himself. And the officials will sort things out, and yes, he is across for the touchdown. Owen Leach able to score from 2 yards out and give DGF 6 more on the board to make it 12-0.
Keep it simple, right? 6'5" can fall forward for a 1.5 feet. So, the DGF offense reminds me of Woody Hayes. What did Woody Hayes always say? When you go back to pass, 3 things can happen, and 2 of them are bad. So keep it simple. And that is what DGF does, and they're incredibly effective at it.
Absolutely. They're showing that here in this first half of play with the 12-0 lead. They'll try for the 2-point conversion to add a couple more. Leach rolling around to the right side. The pressure put on, and the throw is over the head of Summers, but one of his receivers was there. I don't know if he was in when he got the grab or not.
No, he was out of bounds.
Out of
They
bounds,
said he
I
was
was gonna
out of
say.
bounds. Again, there's that grade coming into play again. We can't quite see where the line is as Cade Peterson had his guy covered in the flat. I'm not sure if it was Stoa or Kopacek that was chasing across the backside there, but pass was too far out of bounds, so keep it manageable, and hopefully these points that aren't being put on the board can come in handy for Hawley later.
12-0 on your Community Co-op scoreboard, 9:14 to play in the first half. We're back with more on yourliveevent.com right after this. DGF will boot it away. The guy who just got it across the goal line there, Owen Leach, on a 2-yard touchdown run, capping off a 16-play drive for DGF, where they managed 4 first downs. They've got 7 total in the game, and another score, but couldn't convert on the 2-point conversion. Here's a line shot that goes into the hands of Carson Kopacek, and a good decision just to jump on that ball instead of try and scoop it up and juggle it around a little bit.
Well, I didn't notice this the first time, but Leach doesn't use the T normal. The ball is instead of 1 point being down and laces being out, as we learned once upon a time, and that those laces always have to be out.
Yeah.
He has the laces up and the ball laying flat, so it is never going to go much further than it did right there. But it's going to come off with side spin. It's going to skip. It's going to bounce. So obviously some special teams things that the Rebels have in the works.
Dan Marino's not even holding on to it.
Those isotoners.
Yeah. Got to be careful. Man in motion coming up. Here's Tibbetts. He'll take the handoff. Bounces off of one would-be tackler. Gets to the 35-40. He's knocked out of bounds at about the 42-yard line. Great way to start offensively for the Nuggets as they move the chains.
Good energy. Again, I'm the body language guy today. Good energy and excitement off of a positive run. The edge was set pretty well here on the right side, but the old BYOB, be your own blocker for Derek Tibbetts there, and he was able to bust that first tackle and then get ahead of steam going to deliver the blow to Leach in that tackle as he came across from his safety position.
Second first down of the night for the Nuggets as they move it up closer to midfield at the 44-yard line. 2 backs in the backfield. Handoff goes to Lelm. Lelm is going to be met in the backfield by the DGF Rebels defense. And nothing doing there for the Hawley Nuggets. They'll lose 1 on the play.
Yeah, just not enough push on the left side to come get him with the counter play. So, second and long, staying even with the chains at this point. But now that makes second down a big play here as we got to get a little chunk here to make third and manageable.
Yeah, short loss there on the play. It'll be officially second down and 10 is what it'll be for the Nuggets here.
We got to see Johnny Vetter carry the ball here soon, I would assume.
Stoa off to that left side. 2 wings in the backfield here for the Nuggets. Man in motion, getting set in the backfield is Tibbetts. They'll hand it off to him. Vetter, the lead blocker, straight forward into the right near midfield there. It'll be a gain of about 5 yards for Derek Tibbetts. Some tough yards that he had to try and get, though, to get it up to the 50-yard line. Give him 6 yards, in fact, on that play. It'll be a 3rd and 4.
Yeah, you're right. Tough yards there. The Hawley offensive line doesn't quite get that push that the DGF line does, but it was enough for Vetter to lead through that hole and for Tibbetts to grind out now 3rd and manageable.
So 3rd down and 4 it will be at the Nugget 49-yard line. Same formation they'll have with 2 wings. Tibbetts on that left side, Lelm on the right. Vetter in the backfield. Man in motion is Lelm. They'll fake the pitch off. Right side, they'll go Tibbetts. Reestablishes and tries to get back into the middle. And as he does that, that gave plenty of time for that DGF defense to come up there and say, hey, how you doing? With a nice tackle. Nothing doing. It'll be a 4th down and 4 for the Nuggets.
Yeah, they sat on that counter play here. So Hawley's had the run with Tibbetts off the edge where there wasn't anything fancy that had to happen was the biggest gainer here other than the pass plays. So, as Coach Schmidt is with his play calling is starting to kind of figure out what we've got today and what we maybe won't have.
Same spot it'll be at the 49-yard line, and the Nuggets will get set to boot this one away. Carson Kopacek, the punter. Back to receive will be Jordan Summers right around the 28-yard line. Snap a little bit low, but a nice booming kick there. Summers waiting for it, and Nuggets I'm going to say they might have got there too early, but Tibbetts able to bring it down the field and in for a score.
I don't think you can advance it. It's being blown dead here, but there are no flags on this one. They're going to say he met him with the ball. First down, Hawley.
Oh, I was going to say that it looked like he was there a little bit early on that play, but and the Rebels obviously wanting a flag on that play.
Yeah, I mean, from up here, I would have thrown the flag, but I'm not being paid anything here tonight, so I don't have that duty. So big break for Hawley, and there were 3 maroon jerseys there. The snap was better. Kopacek handled the lower snap this time, got a good boot, but all three coverage guys were down there to make a play.
So Hawley will have it at the DGF 23-yard line. An excellent opportunity now for the Nuggets. Deep in DGF territory. Handoff goes straight up the middle to John Vetter, and Vetter is going to power his way forward for a gain of about 6 yards on that play. It'll make it a 2nd down and 4.
I absolutely love that play call just because it's straight ahead. It's simple. There's nothing extra for the lineman to do. There's nothing extra for Noah to do. It's put the ball in the belly of Johnny Vetter, who we know can break things from a fullback position. But if we can get a few of those grinded out, now those edge plays open up, and now the DGF defense starts to pinch in a little bit more. So I would love to see him go back to Vetter really quick.
2nd and 6 for the Nuggets. Lelm coming in motion, as you see on the screen. Handoff goes to Vetter, straight up the middle again. Basically a similar play as to what we just saw, trying to go to that left side in between the center and the guard. And that's going to be enough for the first down. Give him 5 yards. Johnny Vetter moves the chains on the 2nd play of this offensive series.
I know that so much of what we think about football is from the higher levels, but in high school football, play repeating can be a huge benefit because it's gonna suck the defense into where you want them, and then you can hit them with a counter. So again, no reason not to run Vetter here again if you feel it.
Same formation, same man in motion, Lelm, and they try to hand off. Ball got knocked loose. It's a fumble on the play. DGF saying we got it, and they do. Rebels have the ball right around the 10-yard line. It'll be a turnover on the play for the Hawley Nuggets. The first turnover of the night here this evening.
Yeah, the handoff, just the mesh point wasn't there with Lelm coming off of on the second man. I think it was pulled from Vetter's belly and then was going to be put into Lelm, and there was a miscommunication there potentially between the 2 sophomores, and Nuggets are going to turn it over. So field position is now in their favor, but not being able to take advantage of that turnover on special teams hopefully doesn't have to loom too large here. Let's find a way to get a 3 and out.
That is definitely crucial. You got that opportunity, you need to capitalize on it, especially midway through this 2nd quarter, and the way this DGF team can turn it on. Jordan Summers, one of those guys. He takes the first handoff of this offensive drive now for DGF, and he will gain 5 yards to make it a 2nd down and 5.
In a game like this, especially when you know how physical that offensive line is, you know that they're just leaning on our guys and wearing on our guys. So keeping control of the football and having it in your possession just saves you some of those bumps and bruises and those contacts. And so that's a big turnover here. So let's see if we can dig our heels in.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the best kind of defense you can have, is just hold on to the football, keep it on your side, and keep them from attacking on their offense that has been known to be like this, where Jordan Summers is tough to take down, and he's got another 5-yard gain to move the chains and make it a 1st down and 10 now for the DGF Rebels, as they were deep in their own territory at their own 12-yard line to start this offensive drive. We'll have a lot to work with, but their 2 scoring series, 11 plays and 16 plays, so sustained drives we've been seeing out of this DGF offense.
Absolutely. That last play, I love. Tibbetts came on a blitz to that to the hole that Summers has been making his way with, forced him to bounce his run to his right side. Jack Ames was there, just couldn't hold on, but that was well designed and well timed.
Leach will take the snap. Handoff goes to the right side. This is Friend. Friend finds some room, and he does a nice job, too, of just waiting for those blocks to establish, staying patient in the backfield. A lot of times you might just take off and say, well, here we go, see what happens. But these guys do a really good job of waiting for those blockers to establish, let them get in the way, and move those maroon jerseys out of the way. He gains 4 as the result.
Yep, that time, too, Braxton Bowe with first contact. We're a couple times here, we're just 1 step away on broken tackles.
2nd down and 6 for DGF. Under 3.5 to play now in the first half. Summers cuts back into the middle. We got a penalty flag coming out. This will be the first penalty flag of the night that we've seen fly between DGF and Hawley. Been a clean game.
It's going to go a hold against DGF there. It had to have come on the edge. That time we did not have contain on the near side of the field, but the holding penalty could be the reason why. I didn't see it, but that might be the reason why Spear was kind of pushed out of his contain.
So a penalty on the play is going to push this one back from right around that line of scrimmage, so it'll be the first penalty for 10 yards. And instead of that gain that Summers would have had on the rush, it will be a 2nd down and 14 instead for DGF with 3:10 and counting in the second quarter. DGF with a 12-0 lead over Hawley here on YourLiveEvent.com. Thanks for being with us for our coverage here tonight from Dale Scalarud Athletic Complex. Handoff straight up the middle. Summers going to power his way back to the original line of scrimmage, and maybe a yard beyond that. He'll gain 5 more on his 15th carry of the night.
Now we've got another big play here. Hawley's got him 3rd and relatively long. Got to sit, watch, play action. The way they've been grabbing chunks of yards with Summers, I wouldn't be surprised if they just kept it on the ground. So the whole playbook is there for DGF right now. But this is big. This is dig-in time with 2:32 left in the first half. But field position in your favor, we've got to force a punt.
3rd and 7 it will be. Leach hands it off. This is Summers. He's going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage. Oh, he's still kind of going there, trying to push forward a little bit more. He might have been kind of sitting on one of the defenders, which kept him alive anyway on the play. As the result, he'll gain 1 yard, but boy, that was a big stop by the Hawley Nuggets defense.
Now, big situation here, and I'm not sure it's the time or the situation for DGF to do it, but when your quarterback is your punter, you know you've got a lot of options here. So Hawley's going to have good for the timeout here just to remind them to stay home, watch the ball, and we don't need a big return here. We just need the football.
4th down and 6 when we come back. 12-0 on your Community Co-op scoreboard. 1:58 to play first half. DGF leads Hawley on YourLiveEvent.com. Fourth down and 6 coming out of the timeout here for the Nuggets and the Rebels. Leach back to punt, back to receive for the Nuggets. Got a couple of players back there. Let's see what the numbers were that were back to receive. Leach will boot this one away. Kind of an end-over-end kick. A high booming kick, though. Bounces at the 45, takes a Rebel bounce, and now it's going to kind of even out at the 41-yard line. That's where it'll stop. It was Carter Haugen back there for the Nuggets to receive, stepped out of the way as the Rebels were coming.
And that's one of those where the bounce of the ball didn't hurt. We lost about 5 yards on that, but confidence to just come up, call for the fair catch if you just want to take it and look it in and trust that they're going to give you that halo, which we're not quite sure they gave DGF, but either way, that's the punt returner's job to step in there. It's also one job I would never sign up for.
I would not. I don't think.
I think there's a long list of those jobs I won't sign up for, but that's definitely one of them.
There's definitely plenty that I wouldn't either. That would probably be top on the list right there. Man in motion coming up here is Tibbetts. They'll hand it off to Vetter. Vetter tries to bounce to the outside, and he's going to jump forward for a short gain on the play, a couple of yards there that he'll gain to make it a 2nd down and 8. No timeouts left here for the Nuggets.
2-minute drill, multiple plays are called here.
So 2nd and 8. No one else, and airs this one out into the middle for Stoa, and that one, the defense right behind on that play for DGF. Drew Sheely was in on the coverage in the backfield. As an incomplete pass will result in a 3rd down and 8 here for the Nuggets.
Anybody that watches film knows that we like that slant, so we'll see if that slant can be some sort of slant and go or something else here as the game goes on or as early as this 2-minute drill.
Nelson 2 for 5 on the night with 13 yards passing. As we got the 3rd down situation with just under 90 seconds to play in the first half. Back to pass. Nelson looking, has some time, blocks there. Here's this one over to Stoa right around the 48-yard line, and the ball is going to be incomplete. That'll result in a 4th down and 8 here for the Nuggets.
Yeah, I think Brevin needs to play a little more schoolyard football on that one. He ran his route, he did what he was supposed to do, but as Noah was being flushed, I think he needed to head down the field. Noah, gave him a little bit of a wave, but go down the field and just, make something happen there. Help your quarterback out.
So the Nuggets will be in a punting situation, as it will be Carson Kopacek to boot it away, as they'll snap it from the 43-yard line back to Kopacek. Has some time to get this one set. Kick is there at the 34. It's going to bounce. Initially took a Nuggets bounce, then back to the Rebels side. Stops at about the 33, and that's where DGF will have it with 1:08 to play in this first half.
Yeah, that's the only negative there is with that is the 3 quick passes and not getting anything going, along with the run, that just the little bit of time left here for DGF, but it puts them in a situation where DGF isn't usually, that quick strike team here. So sit on the play action and make sure that you stay assignment sound if they just decide to run the clock out, but give Summers a chance to maybe pick up a chunk.
Summers 16 carries, 96 yards here in this first half of play. A player averaging 221 yards on the ground per game this season coming into this one tonight. Handoff goes to Hawley. Nick Hawley has a handful of carries here tonight as he gets a 1-yard gain there. That was his 6th carry of the night.
So it looks like DGF it took a timeout here after the run play, the little draw, not really a draw play, but more of a dive play out of the shotgun. But they came out with two tight ends, one on each side of the formation, and split receivers to each side of the formation. So, this is a good time for DGF right now with bigger picture in mind to be working for playoffs and working for that bigger picture, as they may be putting a 2-minute drill at the end of a ball game that they need to perform in, or they need to go, whatever it is, 65, 70 yards to, have Leach make plays in the air. So this is a good time, as good a time as any for them to, explore things against, in a non-practice situation.
That's good for both teams in these situations. The Nuggets have done some really nice things defensively. They come up with some really big stops. You can tell they're just focused out there on that defensive side and really keying on Summers, but knowing that you have to key on Leach as well as their quarterback. Airing this one out, a well-thrown ball, and it's over the head of Hawley and out of bounds. Actually, Sheely, that was the intended receiver for DGF. So incomplete pass, but a very nicely thrown ball, but a little bit too far to the left there for Sheely, out of bounds.
Yeah, it's a connection usually that I have to worry about in my scouting reports in the winter, as Sheely is one of the key Rebel basketball players along with Leach. But that time Carter Haugen let Sheely get behind him, and that he's got to trust the guys in front of him and do his job, and then his coverage job was to go with Sheely. He can't let him get behind him in that situation.
Does he use the one-handed pass, or does he go with the two-handed over the head?
He's got the whole game.
He could try the two-handed over the head here with his helmet on. See how that goes. Pass is going to go on a little slant up the middle, and out of bounds goes the receiver that got that, Thomas Thureen. He gets the reception and gets the ball up the field here for DGF. They'll gain about 13 yards on that play and gets them a first down, but more importantly, they stop the clock momentarily as he goes out of bounds.
Yep, so 50 ticks left here as they came for the underneath route instead of trying to take a huge chunk.
Back to pass, Leach, pressure put on. Vetter has a hand on him. Here's some help from Jack Ames, and they take him down at the 30-yard line. Great pressure there by Vetter on the defense, and Ames to close it out.
But I'm going to keep beating this horse. Vetter got there, and he got to come from his defensive end position. We think defensive ends in sacks all the time, but first he contained. There was no way Leach was going to leak out to the right. Then Johnny got those weight room arms on him, and he wasn't going to let go.
Leach back to pass again, intended for Summers. We'll see, did he scoop it up? I think he might have. He'll gain about 7 yards on that reception over to Summers. 10 seconds remaining. They'll hustle up to the line here. We'll see if they get one more play in before the end of this first half. Down to 2 seconds, they will. They'll snap it down the field. Leach airs it out. Nice spiraling ball for Sheely. Oh, just a little bit underthrown as he was going on that route. So an incomplete pass puts us to halftime with DGF leading Hawley 12-0 on your community co-op scoreboard. Stay tuned. Our halftime report, some stats and other information coming your way next on yourliveevent.com. We are at halftime here tonight as the Nuggets trail DGF in football action on yourliveevent.com. 12-0. Let's take a look at the stats here in this first half of play for the Hawley Nuggets. Not a whole lot on the offensive side. They've had 9 carries total when it comes to rushing. 4 of those for John Vetter for 15 yards. 1 carry for -1 yards for Levi Lelm. And Derek Tibbetts with 4 carries for 21 yards. 9 carries, 35 yards on the ground. As for passing, they were 2 of 6 in the air. Noah Nelson with 13 yards in the air tonight. Tibbetts had a 15-yard reception, and Lelm had one that went for -yards, -2 is what that ended up. So a total of 15 plays of offense in this first half for the Hawley Nuggets for a total of 48 yards of offense, both passing and rushing here. As for the DGF Rebels, they were led by Jordan Summers, as you can imagine. 16 carries of their 31 in the first half, had 96 of their 138 yards as a team. 6 carries for 24 yards for Nick Wally, 6 carries for 3 yards for Owen Leach, 2 carries for 16 yards for Brody Friend, and it was Bodie DeVries, 1 carry for -1 yards. Again, 31 carries, 138 yards rushing here tonight. 2 of 6 in the air passing. Owen Leach with 20 yards passing, a 13-yard reception towards the end there by Thomas Thureen, and Jordan Summers with the other reception for 7 yards. So 158 yards of offense total for DGF in this first half of play. Rebels with 9 first downs compared to the 3 for the Hawley Nuggets. 1 penalty in the first half between the two teams. That was for DGF, a holding penalty that went for 10 yards, and 1 turnover that was a fumble against the Nuggets in this first half of play. Jordan Summers scored the first touchdown in that first quarter of play with 6:50 to play, capping off an 11-play drive. 5-yard touchdown run by Jordan Summers. The extra point kick, or the extra point 2-point conversion, was no good. And the other touchdown for DGF came with 9:14 to play in the second quarter, capping off a 16-play drive. That was Owen Leach, a 2-yard touchdown run up the middle with the 2-point conversion, no good. Gets us our halftime score at 12-0. DGF leads Hawley in high school football action tonight. That's the stats for this first half of play. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with more in our halftime show with DGF leading Hawley 12-0 on yourliveevent.com with R&J Broadcasting Incorporated and Halstead Telephone Company. Welcome back. Halftime report. DGF leads Hawley 12-0 in high school football action here tonight. Jordan Summers with a touchdown, Owen Leach with the other for DGF. Both 2-point conversions failed as it shows here on the scoreboard. Nuggets have done some good things, though, defensively. They've come up with some great stops, just trying to gain that momentum and get some offense going. And the other thing was capitalizing on the opportunities like they had earlier on here tonight, too. They had some short field, but just couldn't get the score on the board to kind of get that offensive momentum going for them tonight.
Yeah, and it's just a two-possession game right now. So halftime right now, to me is, well, what was working? Well, vetter up the middle, simple, easy for the lineman, and easy for Johnny to kind of be his own blocker in there in the A gaps on those fullback dives. Maybe keep it simple there until DGF decides that they have to take that away and they change something up, and then maybe it's Tibbetts on the edge and a few other tricks that are in the bag for the Hawley offense. And then Noah, I think Noah's been pretty good. I think the one ball he would really want back is maybe that lower slant to Stoa later in the half in the 2-minute, but also he threw it in a spot where it wasn't going to hurt him. It was either going to be caught or it was going to be on the ground. Otherwise I think each ball he's thrown has been pretty good. I'm not exactly sure what happened with him and Liebach on that play, but he avoided the pressure there. So being timely with that, the key is going to be getting off the field on defense. And it's always weird to say when you got kids that are playing both ways because they're not actually getting off the field, but there's a different mentality when you have possession of the football when you play two-way football. And right now, if DGF continues these long sustained drives where their offensive line is just leaning on the Nugget D-line and linebackers, we might have a carbon copy of this half. So Hawley should get the ball to start the second half, and it's going to be those, just positive, grind it out and keep possession of the ball. And, cliches being what they are, maybe our best defense right now is just ball possession on offense.
Absolutely. And, you look at the time of possession, too. I mean, the number of plays that DGF has comparatively to Hawley, as you were talking about having the control of the football and being on the offensive side, 37 plays compared to Hawley's 15. In fact, DGF in their second scoring drive had more plays in that one drive than Hawley did the entire half. They had 16 in that scoring drive. They had 11 in the first scoring drive. So just that, like you say, it's kind of wears you down when you're on defense.
Yeah, absolutely. In hockey, they'd say the ice is tilted, right? And that's exactly what it feels like here. Time of possession, which is what DGF does. That's how they beat people. That's been their MO for the entire Tony Soderberg run here. And they played a lot of football games well into the fall and indoors and deep into the playoffs, because they can handle it. In a lot of ways, they are the Purim in the fall. Coach Cressup has been ball control, and that's what they do. And their best defense, even though their defense is really good, is keeping control of the ball on offense and slowing the game down and limiting possessions. Well, that's really the same recipe for DGF here in the fall, and it has absolutely worked. It's not impenetrable, it's not perfect, but it has been very successful for them in that 8 AAA section.
12-0 DGF does lead here on over the Hawley Nuggets tonight. As far as upcoming games, the Nuggets will have homecoming week coming up this next week when they'll host Breckenridge for their last home regular season game. As it's senior night tonight, they're recognizing all the seniors, and parents night as well going on here for those senior parents. So good to see that, and seeing the effort that they've got here tonight too against a top-notch DGF team. And then they'll be on the road for a section matchup against the Barnesville Trojans on Wednesday, October 19th during the MEA break. That will be happening. That's for the Hawley Nuggets. As for DGF, they'll close out on the road against Fergus Falls next Friday, and then they'll have a Wednesday game on the MEA break when they host Detroit Lakes for their last game of the season. So some quality opponents that DGF will see to finish off the season, and that's what you want to see, especially when you get closer to playoffs right here, only a couple weeks away.
Yeah, it's DL and Barnesville here tonight, I think, is happening right now. I think Chris Ellingson's over there reffing that one. But then that DL-DGF game, I mean, it's not a section game, but that's a prep for playoffs for both teams on a short week. So that should be a fun one for those teams down the road.
And as we mentioned in the pregame, or if you missed the pregame, the way it sits right now in Section 8 AA is the 1 seed is Barnesville, Pelican Rapids is the 2 seed. Barnesville's at Detroit Lakes tonight, as you mentioned. Pelican is at Park Rapids tonight. The 3 seed as we sit right now is Crookston. They're hosting East Grand Forks tonight. Frazee is in the 4 spot. Crookston defeated them last week in section play, so it's going to be interesting when we come down to the seedings of this. But Frazee is at Thief River Falls tonight. Hawley is the 5 seed in section 8 AA of the 6 teams, and then Warroad is at the bottom. They're hosting Edinburgh West tonight in football action. So every game is important, especially from here on out, time and the quality of play too, which I think we've seen some good quality out of the Nuggets tonight.
Well, and that's part of it with this weird district scheduling and how things are going. You know, Pelican is a very, very good football team, but what they're doing tonight in playing Park Rapids is not equitable to what Hawley's having to do here hosting DGF. You're talking about one end of that section and the other. So your schedules are consistent. You know, they're imbalanced right now with this district scheduling. So you take advantage of that, and that means that some teams are going to have a tougher schedule. And I think Hawley's is as tough as the 2A teams, you know, that they've seen. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of shuffling of this playoff standing between now and then without some sort of upset happening. But for Hawley specifically, the strength of schedule and getting these 3 AA points as far as I believe the QRF goes, and you know, being able to, you know, play these quality opponents between DGF, Breckenridge, and Barnesville to finish the year should, as long as Hawley stays healthy, should benefit them come that first round of the playoffs, whether they're hosting or whether they're on the road.
Halftime closing out, as mentioned, and it shows on the scoreboard here, 12-0 on your community co-op scoreboard. DGF leading going into the third quarter of play here this evening. Thanks for being with us for our coverage tonight. Kurt Fillion along with Nathan Stoa bringing you the play-by-play and color analysts, and Ben Grunke is our video camera extraordinaire for tonight, keeping you able to see what's going on with our action with yourliveevent.com. So we appreciate you being with us for our coverage. As you can see, they are ready to start off this second half of play, and it will be booted away by Owen Leach and the DGF Rebels, taken by Devon Stock at the 35-yard line. He'll get to the 25. He'll be knocked down at the 30, and he'll be placed at about the 32-yard line is where it'll start for the Nuggets here in the third quarter.
Yeah, that spinning ball that Leach kicks off there with the laces up is that's an interesting one here that actually comes if they find themselves in the section finals or on turf at all, that one's going to be interesting to see the kind of tricks that can play on return teams.
So the Nuggets will have it offensively, just the way you want to have it. Try and keep that defense on the field for DGF as much as possible in the second half, much like DGF did to Hawley in that first half. Handoff going straight up the gut there for Johnny Vetter. A nice gain to get things going here in the third quarter, up to the 37-yard line, and that'll be a gain of 6.
Not that anybody was going to ask for my advice, but that's where I would have gone too. I love those productive run plays when we had the ball deep in DGF territory with Vetter. Again, keep it simple and let them churn out the yards and make DGF adjust.
I formation backfield, wing off to the left and receiver off to that right end for the Hawley Nuggets here. Handoff goes to the second man through Tibbetts with his lead blocker Vetter. Off of that offensive line too, that's been creating some nice holes for the Nuggets offense. That's going to be a gain of a few yards on the play for Derek Tibbetts. Get him a little closer to that first down. Didn't get quite to the marker, but 3rd down and 1 it will be for the Nuggets.
Really good job by Caleb Johnson and that DGF defense getting through there and just hanging on to Tibbetts. He's the one that really prevented that first down by getting on his shoelaces and holding on.
Same formation this time. Receiver off to the left end there is Stoa. As they'll hand it off, first man through, Johnny Vetter. He's going to plug his way forward. He's needed 1, and he got a powerful 2 on that play. It looked like DGF was going to make the stop at the line of scrimmage, and Vetter says, I don't think so. I need 1 more yard, and I'm going to get it, and he does.
And Colin Larson coming through with the heady play there. He was not still on his block. I think the guy that he was responsible for might have been the first on Vetter, but he was able to come through and give Johnny a little bit of an extra help and a boost in the back. So a little reminiscent of the old Bush push in USC Notre Dame.
First down and 10 for the Nuggets at their 43-yard line, just underway in the second half of play. As double wing set here for the Nuggets, man in motion is going to be Tibbetts. Rolling to the back here. Nelson airs this one out. Has a receiver. Bo wide open at the 35, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown Nuggets! A huge play there for the Hawley Nuggets. Going 57 yards for Braxton Bowe.
Braxton Bowe came across the formation opposite of the flow. Hawley sent Stoa from the near side on a deeper slant, it looked like, and the running backs were all flooding to the far side of the field. Bowe came back against the grain, and Noah Nelson could not have put a better ball on the numbers 8-2 there, and then he was able to outrun Leach to the end zone. So that's 2 or 3 touchdowns now in 2 weeks for Braxton Bowe. As I think he had one on offense last week, and I know he had the big pick 6. So 82 showing up in his senior year.
What a way to start the second half here for the Nuggets. The handoff goes to Tibbetts to try and capitalize on the 2-point conversion. That will not happen as DGF comes up with a stop. But boy, some big offense in the first 2 minutes of the third quarter. DGF leads Hawley 12-6 on your community co-op scoreboard on yourliveevent.com. We're back with more from Dale Scalarud Athletic Complex after this. .10:01 to play third quarter. A big pass play there for Noah Nelson at halftime here. He was 2 of 6 for 13 yards. We'll get that total up to 70 yards, including a touchdown now, 3 of 7 in the air. That was a 57-yard touchdown pass to Braxton Bowe to get this offense energized, what they were looking for in that first half. As Cade Peterson, the senior, will get set to boot this one away. After the explosive start for the Nuggets in quarter number 3, this one is going to scoot right around the 40-yard line back to the 30, and it's going to be taken by Sheely. Sheely is going to get up to about the 35-yard line. That's where DGF will have it offensively with 9:55 to play in the third quarter.
Just like always, the kicker kicks it off on the old squib style and then goes down and makes the play. Cade Peterson with the solo tackle there, sticking him at the 35-yard line.
Gotta love that hustle. Anytime you see that happen, that's a great thing to see. You get the kick and you go down and you make the play.
As long as you're staying in your lane.
Absolutely. That's the number 1 rule on those special teams. Keep your lanes. Handoff goes. Summers finds some room, scoots back into the middle, and he's going to get in for a first down. He will have a gain of 12 on that play, and a good way to start offensively for DGF after giving up the big touchdown for the Nuggets.
I'm going to assume that was some halftime talk there, or maybe it's just Summers and his creative ability, but one of the changes I liked that Hawley started making in the second quarter especially was DGF's not running at Vetter very often. They were taking advantage of the other side, so that's where Tibbetts is at his linebacker position, and he's been coming on a few more run blitzes. He did that time, and Summers was able to bounce it out. So whether that was coached up or he made the reaction, that was the change.
Caught that blitz this time as Summers going to make it to that right side. Yeah, he was stacked up pretty well. Still that forward motion going to get him probably a couple more yards than what he would have had. Instead of a 1-yard gain, give him 3 yards. It'll be a 2nd down and 7 as he's into triple figures now on that previous carry. He was at 108. He's at 18 carries for 111 yards tonight for Jordan Summers. So 2nd down and 7 it'll be for the Rebels at their own 49-yard line. Stack set in the backfield with Leach in the shotgun formation. Handoff goes to Summers, and again, he's going to be stopped on that play. Just that forward motion to get him a couple of yards, but some tough yards as the Nugget defense energized after that big offensive surge they had to get the third quarter going. Forwarding it onto there, it's going to be a 3rd down and 5.
All right, body language guy back again. Spear excited there after he did it. After he contained did his job, Jack Ames filled. There was a little excitement there, but what I saw just now that I don't really see is a little bit extra out of Johnny Vetter. Arms were moving. You could tell he was leading out there. He spent a lot of time on this football field. It's time to be vocal.
Handoff goes. This is Friend trying to cut back into the middle. I think he's almost got enough of the first down. Oh, his teammate trying to help him out, say, come on with me. Come on this way. And it's not going to work. The Nuggets able to make the stop and force a 4th down situation. It'll be 4th and short. Needed 5. He got about 4.5 on the play. It'll be a 4th down and 1 for the Rebels.
Yeah, I think he had it and then tried to get a little bit more, and a couple other Nuggets were able to get on him and push him back behind the line. So a 4th and short, but I think this is definitely the dominance of the DGF offensive line as you give them some confidence here. You've got Leach that can fall forward here, so we'll see what kind of cut job the Nuggets D-line can do and if they can get any push.
Stacked in the backfield here. Leach going to just take it himself. That long body that he's got wouldn't take much to get the first down, just to extend the arms, try and get away from the defense. He's able to do enough of that to get a 2-yard gain and a DGF first down to keep this offensive series rolling.
Yeah, my assumptions on that one is he's got his own choice of A gaps there that he can go, and they more than likely they probably have a run play called as well, and he can make the decision as the quarterback there on whether or not he's able to fall forward or whether they've got to run a play.
Second first down in this offensive series. Their 6th play on this drive. Handoff goes to Summers. Couple lead blockers there waiting to establish. Tries to spin back into the middle, but Tibbetts had the grip on him, not letting him go. He also had some help from Ryan Spear. So nothing, not a whole lot happening anyway for Summers. But even when it's not a whole lot happening for him, that's still 3 yards.
Well, 3 yards and 4 downs, that's good math for the Rebels. So it's been really tough for negative plays. The only negative plays for DGF really have come on in the passing attack, and the biggest one being the sack when they were in the 2 minutes. So it's just or the penalty. So, right now they've just been able to keep grinding out those positive yards.
2nd down and 7 for the Rebels. Everybody's stacking it up here for the Nuggets coming up, showing blitz. Handoff goes straight up the middle, and this is going to be Nicholas Hawley. Hawley is going to gain, he had a nice gain there of about 6 yards. It'll make it a 3rd down and 2.
So it'll be interesting here now to see what DGF wants to do. Again, we talk a lot about how simple they keep it, but 3rd and short plus territory for you. This is a good time for play action, something that rolls Leach out if they really want to go into that portion of their bag of tricks.
And the way that the Nuggets have been really coming up and showing the attack too, and just try and catch them off guard. They're going to keep with the run. Summers has some room, and he's got a little extra to go beyond that too, that he was able to create himself, get him up to the 20-yard line, and that is well beyond the mark that they needed for the first down. Another nice gain for DGF.
Yeah, no need to complicate it. I keep wanting them to try it, but
they just can't hear you down there.
Well, I might be biased too.
That could be the case. That was a gain of 16 yards on the play, though, for Summers. Gets them into the red zone here, up to the 20-yard line, 1st down and 10. Handoff goes again to Summers. He tries to scoot forward. He's, again, going to gain about 5 yards on that play. What looked like it was only going to be a gain of just a couple, and able to push forward for another nice gain for Jordan Summers and the DGF Rebels. Just keep that clock rolling, keep control of the tempo on the offensive side. And anytime they've had drives of double figures in terms of number of plays, they've scored. This will be play number 10 in this offensive drive for DGF on a 2nd down and 6. Had an 11 and a 16-play drive that resulted in touchdowns. Otherwise, it was punting or fumbling. Handoff goes straight up the middle. Friend has a huge gap and gets in for the score. A 16-yard touchdown run for Friend. Brody Friend able to get that touchdown for DGF.
Yeah, the right side of the DGF offensive line opened up a huge hole. Friend didn't have a whole lot of work to do there. Just make sure that he held on to the football.
So that'll be 6 more on the board here for the DGF Rebels as they lead 18-6 on yourliveevent.com. They'll try for the 2-point conversion here. Unable to convert any of those tonight on the previous 2 scores. We'll see if that changes here. Handoff going to Hawley. Hawley is going to push his way forward, push a little extra. A big stack up there by the Hawley Nuggets defense, and again, they will make the stop, and the 2-point conversion will fail for the 3rd time tonight for the DGF Rebels. So on your Community Co-op scoreboard, 3rd quarter, 4:32 to play. It's DGF 18, Hawley 6 on yourliveevent.com. 4:32 to play in the third quarter. Owen Leach will tee this one up. And just noticing that on the ball too, like you say, kind of slides it forward as the pointing right basically at the toe of his foot. I would feel like that would hurt. if you kick it wrong on there as a short roller that's going to go into the hands of the special teams player, Grady Hines, the sophomore. Picked that one up and took it on the run a little bit there too. Got it to the
he
41.
didn't care if his knee was down. Grady's mentality is go find someone and hit him. So he was excited there for a chance to go deliver a blow while carrying the football. So love that mentality. We're going to say Grady's name a lot here in the future from that fullback position.
So at the 40-yard line is where it's going to be for the Hawley Nuggets. Trailing 18-6, hanging on here and trying to build off of their offensive surge they had to start out this third quarter of play on a 57-yard touchdown pass. Nelson will pitch this one out right side. Tibbetts trying to find some room, gets some to the outside. He's going to be tripped up around the 43-yard line, falls forward to the 44. It's going to be a gain of 4 on the play for Derek Tibbetts.
That time Tibbetts on the speed option did not need to be his own blocker as Johnny Vetter discarded not 1 but 2 and maybe 2.5 guys there. I'm not sure which the half guy was because he hit 2 of them at the end. Neither of them fell over, but they didn't have a chance at Tibbetts. So well done there by Vetter, the lead block, and Tibbetts to read it and run hard for a good gain, second and moderate.
6 carries for 28 yards for Derek Tibbetts tonight. Handoff goes straight up the middle, and Vetter is going to get stuck right at the line of scrimmage for the Nuggets. Nothing happening there for Hawley. Now they'll give him 1 yard? No, he's still at the line of scrimmage. No, he's 1 yard. Yep, 1 yard.
Spotting the football is an inexact science. No, I think there was a commercial that said that one time when they were booing him, and the ref's response was, well, it is an inexact science.
I was going to say, you should probably check on that official. He's got some good defensive stance.
He was dancing a little.
Yeah, he had a good defensive shuffle for basketball for you. 3rd down and 5 it's going to be for the Nuggets. Nelson will roll out to the left side looking for a receiver. Dumps it out to Lelm. He's there for the first down. He'll get into the Rebel territory at the 45-yard line, and that's going to be a gain of 10 on the play. A nice reception for Levi Lelm, the 5th first down of the night for the Nuggets. Will move the chains.
Yeah, they had Stoa running a deep fade there, and then they brought Bo and Lelm across the formation again. I really, we got stuck a little bit earlier in the year, always looking for big gain or something that was 15, 20 yards down the field. I'm really liking the short stuff. It's tougher. It's tough to defend when you're flooding one side of the field, but also it's a little bit more of a comfortable throw right now for Nelson, higher percentage.
When the defensive backs take a few extra steps back, too, you've got a little bit more room to work with, especially on those inside, whether it's slants or to the outside, as the handoff goes up to Vetter. And Vetter is going to gain 3 yards on the play. It'll make it a 2nd down and 7.
So we got a line sub here. Sam Cluck coming in, giving Alex Paulson a little bit of a break. I think he got kind of bent up there 2 plays ago, and he stuck with it for a few, but they're going to give him a little bit of a rest here. So Cluck coming in fresh. Hopefully he can get a good push from his left tackle position.
7 carries, 26 yards for Johnny Vetter tonight on the Hawley side. Stoa split out left side. They got 2 wings. In motion was Tibbetts. They'll hand it off to Tibbetts as he comes around. Curls, and he'll get to the 41-yard line, and that'll be a gain of 2 on the play for Derek Tibbetts.
We've got to imagine here, third down and about 5 or so. We got 2 plays to get this. I don't think we're in a situation right now where we're going to punt and play the field position game. I think it's grinded out here, and 2 plays to go find these 5 yards.
Jack Ames will come into the game for Levi Lelm to give him a breather. 3rd down and 5, like you say, at the 41-yard line of DGF. Nuggets had the 3rd down conversion previously on that dump pass that went 10 yards to Lelm to get that 1st down. Power I formation, they'll hand it off, 2nd man through. That's going to be Tibbetts taking a guy with them. Good job chugging those legs there, Derek Tibbetts. He needed 5. I think he might be a little bit short on this play. We'll see where the officials officially mark this ball. It is a 1st down. They did give him just enough on that forward motion, so great effort there by Derek Tibbetts to get the 5 yards he needed for that 1st down.
Yeah, real good, hard running. I got a little worried as the ball got a little bit away from his body there as he was trying to cover it up, and he was going to be met by about 4 or 5 different Rebels. But we have an injury timeout here as it looks like a cramp on one of our DGF linemen.
Yeah, Victor Sosa is the senior lineman there that they're working on right now to loosen him up a little bit. But another big third down conversion before we go to the timeout. 1:11 to play third quarter, 18-6. DGF hanging on to that lead over the Hawley Nuggets on yourliveevent.com. Back here as the injury timeout, Sosa taken care of. He'll come off the field here momentarily and get a little breather. Loosen up those legs a little bit, get some water in his system. Get rehydrated as a first down and 10 for the Hawley Nuggets. That was accomplished by Derek Tibbetts right before that injury timeout. Tibbetts has a wing on this play right now. He'll come in motion. Up the screen he goes. Handoff goes to Vetter. Scoots his way back into the middle. A little spin move there to try and get away from the defensive players for DGF. And they made it really rough for him, but he was still able to manage about 3 yards on that play here tonight for Johnny Vetter.
Yeah, I like the tight double wing formation and the motion with the split receivers. I like that formation. The 2 receivers just spreads that defense out just a little bit more, hopefully a little more running room. O-line's got to get that push and keep some bodies off of Vetter and Tibbetts just a little longer. Give them 1 or 2 more yards of breathing room.
Yeah, make it just a 2-yard gain there. It'll be a second down and 8 now for the Nuggets. As we're approaching the end of the third quarter, they'll get an opportunity for one last play here before the fourth quarter of play. As Tibbetts will come in motion. Handoff goes to Vetter. Vetter straight up the middle, has some nice running room, gets through a huge traffic of DGF Rebel defenders, and he is able to gain 14 yards to close out this third quarter of play.
Just give him 1, 2, or 12 more yards of breathing room here, offensive line. No, but seriously though, I joke, but just 1, 2, 3 more yards of breathing room early before that first contact, and that's the kind of things that John Vetter and Tibbetts can do with the ball, and they can find those first down gains.
Nuggets will have it around the 15-yard line to start the fourth quarter of play on a first down and 10. They trail 18-6 after 3 quarters of play on your community co-op scoreboard. We're back with more from Dale Scholarud Athletic Complex in Hawley when we return on yourliveevent.com after this. Back here we get set for the fourth quarter of action on yourliveevent.com. Thanks for being with us for our coverage here tonight of Hawley Nuggets Athletics as they host the DGF Rebels, one of 2 last regular season home games for the Nuggets. They'll have homecoming week coming up next week when they'll host Breckenridge for their last home regular season game. Back to pass. Nelson dumps it out to Lelm in the middle. Tripped up a little bit there at about the 5-yard line. Dives forward to the 2. And that is going to be a gain of 16 yards on the play. Good for a Nuggets first down to make it first and goal from the 2.
Yes, a little stop route out there by Stoa to contain the defensive backs a little bit, and then a little pop pass with some, complimentary route little between what looked to be Bo and Lelm, and a little dump over the top for Lelm. So good gain, good connection, keep it simple, and now I think it's time to see what those senior backs do on the eye.
The I formation, power I with Ames as a wing on that right side. Handoff goes to Tibbetts. He pushes his way forward right behind his line. In for the score. Touchdown Nuggets with 11:24 to go in this fourth quarter of play. the Nuggets back within 6 here late in this ball game.
Good response. We just that control of having the football in your hands. We're going to have to find a way to get a stop. But this is a one score game here, and this 2-point conversion is big for how this could swing if the Hawley Nuggets are able to get a stop and get the offense back on the field.
2-yard touchdown run by Derek Tibbetts to score. They'll try for the 2-point conversion. Nobody has been able to accomplish this here tonight. We'll see if the Nuggets can change that. It'd be huge. Taking it right side. Nelson tries to get in, and he does! Extends that arm in. 2-point conversion good. And the Nuggets trail by 4 on your community co-op scoreboard. 18-14. Keeping this one mighty interesting tonight at Dale Skellerud Athletic Complex. On yourliveevent.com, we're back with more from Hawley right after this. Boy, what a game this has been here between the Hawley Nuggets and the DGF Rebels, and making the most of their opportunities in this second half. Boy, we talked about some of those opportunities in the first half, Nathan, that they had chances. They had some short field in positions, but second half they're starting to realize, hey, we can do this. We can get this done.
Yeah, and the body language on offense, that excitement has been there. It's got to stay there on defense, even after 1 or 2 first downs here. But they've got to get off the field and get a turnover on downs, get a punt. Something positive has to happen here for Hawley, because we know how DGF just wants to chew this up. But they're here right now without some main cogs, going toe-to-toe with one of the top 10 teams in the class above them.
This kick is going to be scooped around there scooped up by the DGF Rebels right at the end when it was bouncing around. Dylan Bitker, the sophomore, able to pick it up around the 25-yard line. But, boy, those Hawley Nuggets were coming in ready to try and pounce on that ball. As you can see, like you say, that energy level is there. The coaching staff, the players, everybody up and ready to go here tonight in Hawley. Fun to see.
And now here's the challenge, because I know to a man on the sideline and the coaching staff, no one's here for moral victories. It's time for the players to show that they're not here for moral victories, that this is a time to compete and make big plays and show that they're getting to be a better football team.
DGF will hand it off, and this is going to be Summers. He is just piled up there by a bunch of maroon jerseys. Nobody letting it happen. One of the first guys there was Blake Bigger, along with Levi Lelm for that defense. Huge stop there again by the Nuggets.
So Lelm came down from his safety position. They did this before when Kopacek was out and Stoa was in, and left him as the single high safety. This time Lelm came down in run support, basically adding an extra linebacker to the situation there and coming down hard on the side of the line that DGF has feasted on all night.
2nd down and 10 for the Rebels at their own 25-yard line, stacking it up in the backfield, and airing this one out is Leach, his receiver. Oh, slipped through the fingertips of Nick Wally, who was back there. I was going to say Sheely, but it's Wally who was going there. You can see him kind of covering the helmet there, saying, I should have had that. It was right through the fingertips on that 2nd down situation right near midfield. He had a couple steps on the defense too, but instead that one's incomplete to make it a 3rd down.
Yeah, that's another time. This is happened a couple times in the 2-minute drill early in the first half, or late in the first half with DGF, and now again, defensive backs cannot let those guys behind him. That was a perfect ball by Leach. And it couldn't have been placed absolutely any better. So Nuggets dodged a bullet.
It's 3rd and 10. Handoff goes to Summers. He's met in the backfield. 1 hit, 2 hit, 3 hits. Pop! Everybody down. Braxton Bowe, one of the first ones there. And the Nuggets coming out showing that emotion on the defensive side. Not letting that star running back get anything, as Summers only 1-yard gain makes it a 4th down and 9.
First contact was by Blake Bigger. I think he did his job. I glanced back over and did a better job of that contain. And then Braxton Bowe came and filled and made that play. So now let's secure the ball here. Fair catch if necessary, but let's get the offense back on the field.
Plenty of time to roll with. Got all your timeouts too. Leach will boot this one away. A little wobbly kick there will bounce And great field position here for the Nuggets. It's going to be, it took a Nugget bounce to the 38. That's the DGF 38-yard line. So the Nuggets will have it here in the fourth quarter, down 18-14, 9:50 to play at the DGF 38-yard line.
All right. Offensive line, give those dynamic backs a little bit of space before first contact, and let's ride those senior leaders that we have on the field tonight here in this big drive.
Nuggets with 8 first downs here in the ball game. 4 of those came in the last offensive series alone on a 10-play drive that was capped off by the 2-yard touchdown run by Derek Tibbetts. Shotgun formation for Noah Nelson, their quarterback man in motion. Lelm almost got somebody to jump there. Nobody did. Handoff goes to Vetter. Pounds his way through. Oh, he's got the first down and more. Down the field to 20, and he's going to be wrapped up at the 16-yard line. What a play by Johnny Vetter!
Johnny Vetter. Be your own blocker, Johnny Vetter, and that's what he did. But the line, they gave him that space. We're asking for just a little bit more before first contact, and then the weight room time and the attitude and the effort of number 6 there can take over on that run. And he was one block that was almost had from springing that one into the end zone.
16-yard gain for Johnny Vetter. That first down gets him deep into DGF territory in the red zone at the 16-yard line. First down and 10. Receiver off to the right side. Stoa, power I formation in the backfield. Handoff goes to Tibbetts. Tibbetts scoots his way forward, and he is going to get a nice gain inside the 10-yard line to the 9. That is going to be a gain of 7. Derek Tibbetts with a 7-yard gain there to make it a second down, make it a 6-yard gain. It'll be a second down and 4.
Tuck it away, secure the ball. The ice is now tilted in the Nuggets' favor here. How many different sports analogies can we get in one night?
Quite a few, especially in a game like this.
Absolutely.
Here we go with that power I formation again. Second down and 4. Handoff goes to Vetter right up the middle. I thought it was a nice quick handoff there by Noah Nelson. I thought he still had the football for a moment. Vetter.
Well, and in this offense, too, that's one of those situations, too, where they're we got Vetter cramping right now, it looks like. But that's the advancement of Noah Nelson in leading this offense, too. It's little things sometimes like just carrying out those fakes. I mean, they ran him on the 2-point conversion, and it was successful, so now it's back of DGF's mind. Keep carrying him out on the fakes. If that takes one linebacker or one safety 2 steps out of position, that might be all that's needed to spring a nice touchdown run.
Third down and 3 it's going to be. We'll just keep it right here as Johnny Vetter gets tended to. He gets stretched out a little bit there, gets the water as well to get some hydration here. As Vetter had 4 carries for 15 yards in that first half of play. He's now up to 7 carries. If I can do math really fast. Probably not very well. 26, 28. What do we got? 42. 58, 59, 11 carries for 59 yards for Johnny Vetter, who's done a nice job. Tibbetts has the lone touchdown as far as the rushing goes for the Nuggets, and then a 57-yard touchdown pass that Noah Nelson had to Braxton Bowe earlier on in this second half. It was early in that third quarter. So, we talked about that at halftime, Nathan, just having the offense controlling the tempo that way, and the Nuggets have done that in this second half.
Yeah, and it wasn't the first stop of the game, but when you get one at the end of the half, it doesn't feel as momentum changing, especially in that situation. But just the momentum gained by fighting back, throwing a counterpunch here and there right away to start the second half, and then the second touchdown. But now to get a stop and to get off the field and to force that offense to punt and to do it by they didn't shoot. There was the one passing completion where, that was more on Dilworth than anything else. But the run fits that they had when they brought Lelm down, those were the big plays of that drive. And now you've got that momentum and that excitement and the body language. Everybody's standing a little bit taller. They're actually playing at their height right now. Those kind of things. They're moving around with that extra confidence.
Vetter comes off on his own power here.
Grady Hines is the man to replace him. And here's the deal. I don't think they're afraid to use Grady Hines, so I don't think it's one of those where you're not going to use him. And I also feel confident in Grady Hines to go find someone and push him back and clear the way for Tibbetts.
He'll be the lead back on that I formation set. Behind him is Tibbetts. As they'll fake the handoff, Nelson looking downfield. The pass is complete to Braxton Bowe. Touchdown! Touchdown, Nuggets!
Braxton Bowe, what do you know? Kid's a touchdown machine all of a sudden.
A 9-yard touchdown pass. Noah Nelson to Braxton Bowe. Bowe's got 2 grabs for 66 yards tonight and 2 touchdowns.
And what have we talked? Senior leaders, we talked about it with Vetter getting a little more demonstrative out there and then running hard. And Tibbetts running hard. And now Braxton Bowe continuing to make plays and have one heck of a senior year.
The Nuggets take the lead with that. That 2-point conversion was huge on that last play, and now being able to convert once again. Jack Ames going to come into the ball game there. They needed one extra player. A little miscommunication there as to who was supposed to be in. Ames will take over as the back in the backfield. As the pass by Nelson, airing this one out, and it's caught. Even some contact there. It's going to be Brevin Stoa coming up with the grab to make it 22-18 on your community co-op scoreboard. I'm going to let you talk.
There's a flag on the play, so we'll see what happens there. It looks like it's going to come back, but Stoa ran a pivot route. And, you know, one of the things he's always done at that wide receiver spot is he's always been really good at high-pointing the football and getting it with his hands. So now they'll see what they've got here is a little confusion, put them into, you know, put their backs against it. So it looks like with Peterson running on right now, looks like they're going to go to their trips formation. So Peterson, Liebach, and Stoa will be the 3 wide receivers here as they look to atone for the holding penalty there on that, you know, little bit of a scramble on the 2-point conversion.
So they'll try it again. Yeah, the penalty flag comes out at the dropping it back to the 15-yard line. First penalty of the night for the Nuggets for 10 yards. DGF has 1 penalty for 10 yards tonight as well. 2 receivers off to that right side, 1 off to the left. Nelson looking down the field, and he tries this one a little bit underthrown for the intended receiver Stoa, so the 2-point conversion will fail on your community co-op scoreboard. The Nuggets do have the lead, though, 20-18 here tonight on their home field against the DGF Rebels, who come in undefeated in 8-3A football. We'll take a break. We're back with more from Dale Skellerud Athletic Complex on YourLiveEvent.com right after this. Here we go. Nuggets lead 20-18. Thanks for being with us for our coverage here tonight. Listeners from all over the place. Where'd you say we got listeners? Down in
Wow, I got text messages from Pine City.
Man,
I got text Minnesota. I got text messages from Aberdeen, South Dakota. So shout out to Jacob Vetter out there. Keith Linsmeyer out in Pine City who's watching. He's the father of one of the other crazy guys that gave me a microphone upon the, once upon a time. So
those poor people.
Yeah.
Who would give you a microphone? My goodness. Squib kick goes right up the middle. This is going to be taken by DGF Hawley, who's going to make it up to about the 45-yard line. So some decent field position for the DGF Rebels in terms of where they're at. But hey, the way this Hawley Nugget defense has been playing, I don't know if it matters where they're at on the field right now. They are jacked up. They're ready to go.
Well, I think first and second down here is going to tell us a lot. Does DGF have an adjustment? They've seen all sorts of different defensive fronts here. So now can they make that adjustment on a one possession situation for Hawley bringing an extra man down into the box? As I'm assuming they've seen plenty of different fronts here.
Snap goes. This is going to be Summers taking this one. He's going to get across the 50-yard line into Hawley territory at the 49-yard line, so it'll be a gain of 5 on the play for Jordan Summers.
How tough is Summers? He just carried 267 for about 4 extra yards.
Yeah, he's pretty strong. He's definitely a pretty strong kid, at least from what I can tell.
No, that's
seeing his stats before the game, I guess I could kind of tell he was That's pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah.
Pretty good
They
player.
rely on him a little bit.
Yeah, I would kind of say so. Yeah. He's carried the ball quite a few times here. In fact, that was his 25th carry of the night. Handoff goes right side, still trying to find some room. Not anything happening. This time the Hawley Nugget defense there to make a stop right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play.
Yeah, they had Summers for about a yard or yard and a half, maybe 2-yard loss, and he was able to shimmy out of the first one and still step ahead and get back to the line of scrimmage. So every yard matters right now, and he saved 1 or 2 there for the Rebels.
So 3rd down and 6. Yeah, just a loss of 1 on that play. I thought it was just no gain, but they'll step it back in between the 49 and the 50-yard line.
I just feel a screen play right now, something that the Nuggets have struggled with on film. I want to watch, see what DGF does.
Right up the middle, Leach is going to keep it himself. He leans his body out there to try and get that first down, and as he did, I think he was down on the contact.
Immediately they called him down by contact, but he did fumble the football, which I think might cost him the first down here, so we're talking 4th and a yard or less.
Yeah, so a 6-yard gain. He needed 7 on that play. It'll be a 4th down and 1 for the DGF Rebels at the Nugget 44-yard line. 20-18, Hawley with the lead over DGF. The Nuggets can hang on to this. What a huge win this would be for these guys. Not just overall against a high-quality team in DGF, but just the confidence level, too, to keep the momentum going the end of this season. Handoff goes up the middle, and it's going to be Wally. Wally's going to have just enough. He's got plenty for the first down. Just enough room there up on that line to get him through and get him that extra yardage. He gains 4 on the play.
It's an odd situation to look at a clock and see it just 10 ticks underneath 6 minutes here, but this is that prime DGF territory to run the clock down, which makes these next few downs incredibly important and incredibly valuable for that clock. You know, Hawley they're going to have to determine when to use timeouts here as we go, but DGF is good at melting it away.
Yeah, both teams have all 3 timeouts remaining as the handoff goes to Summers. Summers forces his way through that line, and he gets beyond the first down marker. He gains 13 yards on that play, and it will be another DGF first down. So after some great stops we've been seeing out of the Hawley Nuggets defense this time, DGF able to break some things free there, get it up to the 26-yard line. That's where it's placed right now. First down and 10. 5:10 remaining in this ball game. Nuggets with a 2-point lead at 20-18. DGF with 3 scores, but unable to capitalize on the 2-point conversions here tonight, and that's proved to be a crucial part of this game. Hawley able to capitalize on one of them. Handoff goes straight up the middle again, and the Summers, he got another 11 yards on that play, and that'll be another first down for the DGF Rebels, just marching it down the field now.
Yeah, and they're marching and they're going back behind that right side of their line. That's where they are making their way consistently tonight. So, or at least right now here in the second half, which is what they didn't do in the first half. They didn't run Johnny Vetter's way, but right now they're not trying to get outside. They're running running inside of him. So we got to make sure we fill that hole.
Stacking it up in the backfield. Leach under center this time, hands it off. Summers tries to scoot back into the middle. And again, he carries Bo with him on that play. Jack Ames helps to finish off defensively, but short gain will be a gain of 2 on the play for Jordan Summers.
Yeah, so we're sitting here in we're getting, dangerously close to timeout, needing timeouts to conserve some time to be able to have that clock in order to go down to score, because even if you give up a touchdown right now, you're going to have an opportunity to put one on the board and still steal this one.
Leach will step his team up to the line here. 2nd down and 8. Handoff goes Wally. Wally was trying to find some space. Good job by Levi Lelm getting a big old hit as he was wrapped up initially by Blake Bigger on that play. He was there first to get the stop, and then Lelm laying the lick on him. No gain on the play.
So we got 3rd and long here with 2 downs to catch these last 8 yards for the Rebels. Feels like it's going to stay Summers' time here, but defensive backs still have to be aware of play action.
Absolutely. Yeah, you never know what's going to be coming up. They've been really leaning on Summers as they have all season. And here tonight, no different. They'll hand it off to him. He'll bounce to the outside, try and cut back into the middle. Summers has I think he's going to be close to that first down. I think he's short, though. He is going to be
a yard or two short.
Yeah, gain of 6 yards, maybe 5 yards on the play. Yeah, 5. So he'll be about 4th and 2 here for DGF.
So they're not going to need to snap it here till, what are we looking at, about 2:20 on the clock, roughly. Not trying to be perfect with my math, but it'll be close to that if they want to run it down, and this is a big 4th down, obviously.
Absolutely. This is a huge play right here. Stacking it up. They're going with the hard count, and I think they got the Nuggets to jump. Unless somebody flinched up top, but that's not what it's looking like from what the official is signaling. That's going to be the second penalty for 15 yards tonight for the Hawley Nuggets. But more importantly, that one gives DGF a first down.
Yeah, first time I don't remember a time before this where DGF went with any sort of hard count. So that's a well-timed decision right down there in the chess match that's going on between the offensive coordinator and Nick Burcham, the Hawley defensive coordinator.
4-yard line is where that ball is going to be placed. First down and goal it'll be now for the DGF Rebels. Just slowly making their way up to burn some more time off the clock. Confidence on their side. Handoff goes to Summers up the middle, in for the score. A 4-yard touchdown run for Jordan Summers.
Okay, so we have a flag on the play. I think based on the situation right now, it's personal. Is it kind of
chop block? Illegal block? And it's sorted out. It is against DGF.
The touchdown is the touchdown's good. It looks like it was after the play, so it's going to be assessed on the kickoff. So what I was about to say before we realized there was a flag, a touchdown by DGF right now is not the worst thing. Now, especially when you're backed up and they're melting it down, the math behind it here can be Hawley, controlling the ball and having a chance to score and go ahead and win this one.
So the touchdown is good. They'll try for the extra points here. Up 24-20 as DGF. Handoff goes to Summers. Summers gets in for the extra points. And that was big right there for DGF as well. So they had the lead by 4. They add 2 more to it to make it 26-20 on your community co-op scoreboard in favor of the DGF Rebels.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out here if that was a touchdown or if that was the 2-point conversion. And that was the 2-point conversion. So
that was the case. So that penalty, as mentioned, will be assessed on the kickoff here as it was after the touchdown. So on your community co-op scoreboard, it is now DGF 26, Hawley 20. 2:07 to play in the game. We're back with more from Hawley right after this. .207 to play in the game. As you can see, the penalty of 15 yards, that was a personal foul against the DGF Rebels. So they've got 2 penalties for 25 yards tonight on that 15-yarder. Should give the Nuggets some decent field position if they can get that ball. This is going to be, it's taken by Lucas Skank on that play as he was trying to cut back. He ended up, his knee hit the ground, so as the result, he's down on the play.
So in total, that penalty probably did not end up helping Hawley, but the touchdown was, again, obviously you want to get stops and stuff there, but if DGF was going to score, now we're at least in control of our own destiny right here with a potential for a tying touchdown and a walk-off conversion.
So first down and 10 it will be at the Nuggets 34-yard line. 2:04 to work with, and also important, all 3 timeouts for the Hawley Nuggets.
Plenty of time for the entire playbook right now, and DGF's going to call a timeout.
Timeout, 26-20. DGF leads Hawley on your community co-op scoreboard late in the fourth quarter on yourliveevent.com. We're back with more from Hawley right after this. Out of the timeout taken by DGF. That's their first of 3 timeouts here. Again, the Nuggets have all 3 timeouts remaining in this second half. They had to use a couple quick in that first quarter back in the first half, but that is well beyond us, and we are in the important part of this one.
The entire playbook is still there for Hawley right now.
Shotgun formation, man in motion coming up is going to be Lelm. Fake the handoff. Second man through, that's going to be Vetter. Vetter scoots his way to the outside, trying to find some room. Not a whole lot happening there. In fact, the containment by the DGF Rebels not allowing for anything to happen. It's going to be no gain on the play for Vetter.
DGF did a good job of playing sideline coverage there. They were defending Vetter from being able to hop outside and get out of bounds, so good contain as Hawley had 2 plays called here.
Second down and 10, back to pass. Nelson will air it out into the middle. The ball's knocked loose by Levi Lelm as the coverage by Leach right at the end, able to get his paw on it. Incomplete pass.
Tight window there, good coverage by DGF, but DGF's playing, not so much down in distance, but distance and situation, and they're playing the clock in that in the 70 yards of or 65 yards of field that Hawley has to go here. So third down, and Hawley's got, 3rd and 9 with the trips formation coming onto the field.
1:37 to work with in this one. A touchdown would tie it up, and then that 2-point conversion would be the crucial part to try and add to it if they can get down the field here quick. Airing this one out right side for Stoa. Into his hands to the 35-yard line. Knocked down on the play. What a toss there by Nelson, and a great grab by Stoa.
Good ball. Can't let that one come down to his chest, but you got to do whatever you can to catch it. So good adjustment in the air and secure it, and now the Nuggets can march.
31-yarder. This one is going to be knocked in the middle as the hand of the DGF defender there, Caleb Johnson, able to get just enough of it on it to knock that ball down. To Hawley's benefit, there were no other DGF Rebels in that area to try and get the interception, so incomplete pass it'll be. But as mentioned, a 31-yard pass from Nelson to Stoa up to the DGF 35-yard line to make it even more interesting here with 80 seconds remaining.
I like the fact that he looked back at classmate and young guy out there for the first time in the bright lights, Zach Liebach. I like that he looked that way. Zach ran a good slant route. It was just everything was well covered by DGF.
Second down and 10 for the Nuggets. Back to pass. Nelson has some time into the middle. Ball almost intercepted by Wally. Had his hands on it. I don't think he even saw that it was coming at the time because he was so focused on the defense on the player there, Tibbetts, who was coming across the field. So incomplete pass instead of the interception, and it will stay Nugget football, 3rd down and 10.
We got a little Highway 10 rivalry jaw-jacking going on out there, all in good fun right now, but our two all-conference basketball players out there are doing a little woofing and having some fun out there as they compete.
3rd down, Nelson airing it out. This one into the middle. Oh, another nice defensive stop by the DGF Rebels. 33 on 33. Wally knocks it away from Tibbetts, incomplete to make it a 4th down and 10.
Nuggets are, Coach Nats is looking for Wally getting there early. I don't necessarily disagree, though we're a long ways away right now, but he's going at the back judge a little bit there, asking for how that wasn't potentially pass interference as he came over the top and threw his back.
That was definitely close. They've had some good defense, though, this DGF team coming up with some big stops late in this game with 1:11 to play. It's 26-20. DGF leads Hawley on yourliveevent.com. We'll just keep it right here because it's a fourth down situation for the Nuggets. A big play coming up. Even those third down conversions, boy, that would have been huge, though, if they could have gotten the pass interference play on that.
Yeah, it would have been big. It would have, stopped the clock, advanced the yardage here. But now timeout to get everybody organized on both sides. Defense gets an chance to set what they think might be coming off of film, and Coach Schmidt has an opportunity to go into his playbook and see what he thinks he can take best advantage of from the work that the Nuggets and the coaching staff has put in this week.
Calm, cool, collected in that pocket, too, for Noah Nelson, the sophomore quarterback who's just really doing a nice job of controlling this offense here tonight. 4th down and 10 at the DGF 35-yard line. Back to pass. Nelson airs it out left side, and it is,
There's
penalty
the flags.
out. That's what that is.
The defender didn't turn his head. They ran Liebach on the same wheel route. This is inside information. I think that's the same play that he caught for the game-winning touchdown in the sub-varsity game earlier this week. So they gave Liebach a chance. Noah he underthrew the ball a little bit, but that's also good for drawing those PIs.
Absolutely. That was a big play there for both teams. DGF on their side with the penalty situation. Their third penalty for 40 yards here tonight. And the interference will put it up to the 20-yard line now for the Hawley Nuggets with just over a minute to play, trailing 26-20 on yourliveevent.com.
And credit to Liebach for staying with that one and coming back through the defender so that he could earn the flag as well.
Shotgun formation, back to pass. Nelson looking right side, has Lamb. Just off the mark there as it was in his hands. And then right behind him there, the defense coming up with the push there.
We have 2 timeouts right now with 61 seconds to go. And we've thrown now, every play in this drive except for the very first one with Vetter. I wouldn't be surprised to see him come back and give Johnny that counter play off the handoff or, something inside because there's plenty of time on the clock to go back to the run game a little bit here.
Some good defense there in the backfield there by the DGF Rebels to stop that one from coming as the reception. 2nd down and 10 it'll be at the DGF 20-yard line. Nelson will get set. Passing this one again. Fakes the pass. Airs it out. This one was it ripped away by Leach? Does he say he get the interception? We're still waiting for the official word, and they're saying it hit the ground.
Side judge was waiting for the back judge. Ball was thrown a little inside, and Owen's going to out-jump Brevin on that one unless it's thrown to the sideline. So he waited for the back judge to come in and say that the ball was either trapped or hit the ground. So still 3rd down, and I still think the run game is still a potential here for Hawley as there's 2 timeouts with 55 seconds. So I think the entire playbook is there, and whatever Coach Schmidt thinks is going to churn some yards out towards the end zone.
Especially the way things have been going right now, you can see that defense really in prevent, stepping back. They have a lot throughout the night, too, but especially now that they've been seeing some passing plays, that will, like you say, that's an opportunity with some plays up the middle or just on the running game anyway. Nelson has some time to pass, goes left side, gets it to Bo. Bo had a little bit of room there, got up to the 15-yard line, down at the 14, and utilizing one of those timeouts, as you mentioned, of the 2 that they had.
Composure and presence of mind there for Nelson to step up in the pocket. He was safe from a rush there to make sure he could still keep the ball cocked back in his arm and was able to know where Bo was going to be. So, again, yardage gain now. 1st down is still possible here. I'm trying to read my yard lines there, but it looks just outside the 10 that they can still pick up a 1st down, which will also stop the clock, plus 1 timeout in their pocket. So it doesn't have to be to the end zone. It sure can be, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a be-all, end-all play right here with 4th and 4.
Absolutely. You've got some room, like you say, on a 4th down situation. Some tension you can see. Boy, it's just had a chance to actually even look out into the crowd. There is a nice crowd here tonight for this ball game, as we expected, with a rivalry matchup and just coming down the road from the Dilworth, Glendon, Felton areas. And we appreciate all of you who are still tuned in with us on yourliveevent.com. If you couldn't make it to the game or just wanted to sit back, relax at home, and watch some high school football, we appreciate you being with us here tonight. Or as mentioned, if you're far, far away out in South Dakota or Wisconsin, or hey, even if you're across the border, hey, up in Canada, tuning in to us, thank you very much. 4th down and 4 for the Hawley Nuggets at the DGF 14-yard line. Ready to dig in with the man in motion. Tibbetts on the run, going right side, and a dump pass going to Vetter. Vetter has some room, pushing his way forward, trying to get that first down.
Ref looks like he's coming down on the yard line.
This is going to be really close. Oh, my goodness. Rebels saying, oh, no, they did not get it. They came up short, and Coach Nat says, what? Why don't you try and at least measure this?
Continued off of that drive. I had to move that down a little bit. So
why not at least measure it out?
Yeah, we're a long ways away, but that's awfully close to that yard line that it'd be nice to see how many chain links they were close or what they had, because our down markers on the other side, they didn't move very much.
No.
When they to readjust for the position of the ball.
It did not at all. So that is going to go a 3-yard reception.
I like that play call and getting it back to Vetter there, but looks like DGF's going to kneel on it and escape here.
Wow, what a valiant effort, though, for this Hawley Nugget team. Never gave up, had a great effort here in the second half of play. And, yeah, that's all he had to do was kneel on it once, and that's going to complete this one. Final score on your community co-op scoreboard. DGF going to sneak away with the victory over the Hawley Nuggets, 26-20 here this evening. But an entertaining football game between these two, working hard to finish this one off.
This game played, what, 3 weeks ago, is a 4-5 score football game. Played tonight, it was a 1-score football game. That's the progress that's been made, and most of it's been emotional and buy-in and leadership-based, and the coaching staff keeps advancing these Hawley Nuggets. But you know, a few weeks ago, this one is not anywhere close to a 1-score football game. So there are no moral victories, but this team is getting better as they head towards the playoffs.
Absolutely. That's a tough one to take there, especially the way that they've worked so hard. And like you say, I mean, just the mentality is getting there. They're getting that mental toughness, that mental strength that they need. The energy level was way better than what we've seen earlier on this year, and that's going to bode well for them come playoff time. But Nuggets come up a little bit short, 26-20. To the DGF Rebels here tonight. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll have our post-game report coming your way next on yourliveevent.com. Final score 26-20. DGF gets the victory over the Hawley Nuggets here tonight in a hard-fought battle between these two teams. But, man, it was entertaining. We had a good matchup as DGF scoring in that first quarter, about midway through the first quarter, a 5-yard touchdown run by Jordan Summers that capped off a long drive of 11 plays. The next play that they'd score on would be a 16-play drive that was capped off with 9:14 to play second quarter. 2-yard touchdown run by Owen Leach. Both of those plays, the 2-point conversions, were no good to make it 12-0 at that point. And then it was a 12-0 lead for DGF at halftime, where Hawley Nuggets were able to score right away in the first 2 minutes of the third quarter, capping off a 4-play drive on a 57-yard touchdown pass from Noah Nelson to Braxton Bowe. The extra points were no good to make it 12-6 at that point. DGF would answer back with a 10-play drive with 4:32 to play in the third quarter. A 16-yard touchdown run by Brody Friend. 2-point conversion failed to make it 18-6 at that point. The Nuggets would score on the next offensive series, also a 10-play drive, leaving just a little bit of time, or entering into the fourth quarter. A play would have been a 2-yard touchdown run by Derek Tibbetts. The 2-point conversion was good for Noah Nelson to make it 18-14 at that point. Nuggets would take the lead after a punt by the DGF Rebels, a 4-play drive that would be capped off with 8:07 to play in the fourth quarter. For the Nuggets, 9-yard touchdown pass from Noah Nelson to Braxton Bowe. The extra points were no good to make it 20-18 at that point. DGF able to secure another score there with 2:07 to play in the game on a 10-play drive where they had a 4-yard touchdown run for Summers. The 2-point conversion also converted by Jordan Summers to make it 26-20. Had some opportunities, had 10 plays in that final offensive drive to close it out, but they came up close, but not close enough to get a score and try and tie the game or even close it out here tonight. So DGF does come away with the victory to stay undefeated on the year at 6-0, 26-20 over the Nuggets. They dropped to 2-4 on the year, but Nathan Stoa, what an effort by these guys. They didn't give up. They just kept on chugging away. Had some opportunities in the first half they couldn't cash in on, but didn't let them affect them. They just kept on going.
Yeah, and it was really the one opportunity they had in the first half off the punt, fumble, and recovery, and it didn't go right. And again, I'm beating dead horses all night long here. That's kind of the whole thing with this squad. Is the energy is different, and there's a difference between moral victories and understanding the journey and continuing to improve for bigger games down the road. And I think this Hawley team has shown that, because we talked about that this wasn't the same team we saw the last time we broadcasted a football game. This is a different squad, different attitude, same kids, different mentality, different attitude. But after that, slight momentum grab after the punt turnover in the first half, and then things go poorly on the fumble. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, the shoulders might have slumped and things might have changed. Halftime was regrouped just like at West Central, and a really good second half of football where they made plays where they needed to. There were defensive adjustments made by the coaching staff, but at the same time, that's how do I trust my kids to be able to make these adjustments on the fly or with minimal practice time? Is it time to pull it out? And it's what can you do, and what do you trust your kids to be able to execute? And I thought when they changed some of those things up defensively, early it was blitz and Tibbetts, and then it was rolling the safety down to become extra run support. And the kids, the defensive players made those adjustments, and then on offense, after basically making no plays in the first half, one good Tibbetts run maybe, Bowe with the big touchdown, great play call, but great execution by the kids. Better run execution, more chunk yardage out of Tibbetts, and especially out of Vetter, and then being able to hit a couple down the field at different times to move the sticks and to get them into the end zone. So I think a month ago, if this was our situation, we might have seen some heads hanging and some shoulders slumping, and that's going away, and it's going away in a hurry. And better late than never, right?
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned that name, Bowe, too. I mean, the offense, you see, he had 3 catches in this game, 2 of them touchdowns for 72 yards, a 57-yarder, a 9-yarder on the touchdowns, and then also a 6-yard completion, too. But boy, I thought he played very well defensively, too. I mean, he came up with some nice reads and some nice stops up there, but just overall, I thought as a team, they really combined and made some big plays. They knew the assignments. They knew where they were supposed to be. and did what they had to especially come up with some big stops on Jordan Summers, their key player.
The improvement throughout the game and the run fills throughout the game continued to get better. And like I said, the adjustments that were made, and you can only make adjustments if you're starting to trust your kids to be able to execute that. And obviously the coaching staff saw some adjustments they could make, but more importantly that they could trust the kids to execute. And that's part of the reason they were able to get DGF off the field a few different times and then get the ball back and execute on the offensive side as well.
26-20, DGF gets a victory over Hawley here tonight in football action. We'll take another break. We'll come back and chat with the head coach of the Hawley Nuggets. Peter Natz will join us here after the loss to DGF, but a hard-played game here by both teams and a fun one to watch and be part of. We'll take a break. We're back with more on our post-game report right after this. Back here in our post-game show, 26-20, DGF gets the victory over the Hawley Nuggets here tonight. Peter Natz, head coach of the Hawley Nuggets, joining us here after the loss on Friday night in a hard-fought battle with the DGF Rebels. And boy, what a game it was. Back and forth, he went with these guys neck and neck and came up with some big plays here and there, had some opportunities that maybe didn't go your way in the first half, but second half really came up strong and just kept on plugging away. What are your thoughts after this ball game tonight?
My thoughts are, wow, what a football game. And wow, what a team effort. After the week we had a week from hell with some of the adversity we had to go through this week. And for our kids to rise up and play the best game that we've played all year against the number 2 team in the state in Class 3A football. I couldn't be more proud. I wouldn't be more proud if we won. I'd just be a heck of a lot more excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so.
And a game like this too. I mean, just going back from the start to the end. And I know we talked about this in our pregame interview too. The fact that one of the questions was about the energy level and if that's been getting better for you guys, because I know that lacked, especially in the first few weeks for you guys. But boy, you could see that tonight. And I know you said that it's been happening over the last couple games too, but tonight especially, you could see the focus on their eyes tonight.
Yeah, and even more so than just seeing the focus tonight, the physicality we brought tonight against a bigger, stronger, more physical team. And we matched them blow for blow. Actually, I would say we brought more of it, and then they matched us blow for blow and ended up with a few more points on the scoreboard. But our effort, our physicality, our focus, The growth and the maturity we showed getting through this week and then being able to play like we played tonight was fantastic.
Absolutely. Offensively and defensively, let's start with the defensive side, because I know that was probably the thing where you've got some explosive offense that's coming in, and obviously he ended with a good night with 177 yards rushing, their leading rusher Jordan Summers, but it felt like there was a lot more times where you made big stops than they had big offensive plays overall in this one.
That was our plan, but it was even more than a plan. It was our hope that we would be able to do that. You'd think you'd be disappointed or upset about giving up 170 yards rushing to a kid, but we didn't give up any half the field long touchdown runs. We didn't give up any huge plays like that, and that's a credit to our kids, and that's a credit to Nick Burcham. He took over as our defensive coordinator this year, and he's made some changes. He's made some adjustments. We had a couple different things. We moved into our old time 44 defense that we've been playing for 20 some years after being in our 4-3 all year. It was a great plan, a great adjustment. Nick's been doing a great job with us for many years as an assistant coach, and one day he's going to be a pretty good head coach too. Offensively, Noah did what we asked him to do. Coach Schmidt has been on him to get into the smaller routes and find the underneath things. A 7-yard pass play is just as good as a 7-yard run, and sometimes it saves time, sometimes it stops the clock, whatever. But we've come a long way. Our offensive line played tremendous football tonight too. We didn't give up a sack. I don't think Noah got jacked up or got knocked around at all tonight either back there. So our offensive line did a nice job. Some of our boots and rollouts and play action stuff, he got outside, and our pulling guards just laid some vicious whack blocks out on the edge, tonight. And just a great team effort. I'm incredibly proud of our kids right now.
Yeah, that's a lot of good things you see there. And then defensively, I mean, there's a few spots that really stood out when it seemed like Summers was trying to bounce to the outside, or Leach or whoever was going on the run, and all of a sudden there's a wall of maroon, and they're all just kind of like a game of cat and mouse where they were just waiting for him to come, and one guy is here, and they all kept their lanes. It was just like, you got a guy here and then another, and there's 3 of them, and it's like, we're not going anywhere. Come on to us. And it was almost like a challenge.
That's the way Summers plays. He's a patient runner.
Yeah.
He's just wait, and that can be designed to go outside or be designed to go inside, and he can do the opposite very easily just by being patient and letting his big boys up in front move downfield. And then he can stay in that try, and he can keep moving in traffic so well. We did a great job slowing him down. Like I told you, we weren't going to be able to stop him, but we did slow him down. He didn't get over 200, and he didn't kill us tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's huge. I mean, a kid that's coming in with 221 yards that he's averaging, to hold him 50 yards under his average is a crucial component, and it shows on the scoreboard too, where you're right with them all the way to the end. So other things you take out of a game like this, I mean, that you move forward, obviously you can tell that it was tough on the guys after this game, knowing that they were that close. I mean, it was just so close, right in their fingertips at the end. But it looks like it hurt, and it's a good thing, especially when you come up with a loss where you want them to have that emotion.
It did hurt. It does hurt anytime you lose a game. And these guys know that they got through a really vicious cycle this week and played a really good football team. And we grew miles and miles tonight during this football game. And I expect our kids to come back on fire, ready to go next week. Breckenridge is coming to town, and we're gonna have to play hard next week too, because they're a physical squad as well.
Yeah, what do you know about them coming into that game? Have you seen anything on them for this year?
Not a thing. I know they still wear the ugly green color once in a while, so that's not a fan of green, but that's all right. They got some good folks down there, so we got to get ready to play a game now. But we're gonna really focus on continuing the effort we started 2.5 weeks ago at halftime at the West Central game. We've played really good football for 2.5 games right now, solid, with no letdowns and no terrible big mistakes or any letdowns, and so we're just got to keep on that vein and stay positive and stay with it.
It's the best time to have it happen too. Only a couple games away from playoffs, right?
Well, we got to get going. Yeah, it's a journey, man. The football season goes so fast, and some weeks seem like they're so long getting through them, but it seems like we just started a couple weeks ago, and we've got about six legitimate practices left.
Yeah, it goes by fast. Quick seasons.
Yep, it is.
Well, I appreciate the time as always. A great game here tonight. Great effort by everybody involved on both sides between Hawley and DGF in a rivalry matchup. It's what you'd expect, and it's fun to see that as the result here tonight too. So best of luck in the week of practice, and we'll catch you in homecoming football next week against Breckenridge.
All right, sounds good. Noah Nelson, our quarterback, has a bunch of family in town this weekend. Kind of last-minute decision by those guys. Got some family, aunts and uncles and cousins from Colorado and St. Louis, Missouri area. So we got some travelers coming. They travel a long way for a home game for us. So I'm going to go home and hang out with those guys for a while and celebrate with Noah a little bit on the growth of what's been going on here. We played well tonight. I'm proud of that. And thank you to KRJB and KRCQ and all those YLE guys too.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much. Peter Nats, head coach of the Hawley Nuggets, joining us here after the ball game against DGF on Friday night. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll name our energy players of the game along with the precision player of the game, brought to you by Enbridge and also by RDK Enterprises. They're on the way next before we wrap things up from Dale Scullerwood Athletic Complex in Hawley after this. Back here to close things out tonight on our post-game report. DGF getting the victory over Hawley 26-20 as we name our Enbridge Energy players of the game for this one tonight. I got to go with a couple of players here as I had a chance to chat with Coach Nats off the air, and just so many to choose from, so many different things that happen in this game where you could go with a player here, a player there, but one on the offense and one on the defense is what I'm going to go with on this Hawley Nuggets side. On the offensive side, Noah Nelson going to be one of our Enbridge Energy players of the game with in the air going 9 of 18 with 145 yards and 2 touchdowns tonight. Just an overall great effort. The way that he just stayed calm in that pocket, waited for the opportunities down the field, and took advantage of those opportunities, especially in that second half. The 2 touchdowns, both to Braxton Bowe, a 57-yarder and a 9-yarder, and just overall a great effort in that quarterback position to keep everybody calm in a very tense atmosphere here tonight against DGF. He's going to be one of our Enbridge Energy players of the game. And on the defensive side, I'm going to go for the Nuggets here tonight, Jack Ames. Boy, he brings it every week, I feel, but tonight especially, he focused in, zeroed in on some very quality athletes in the backfield. Jordan Summers, obviously one of those. Nick Wally, another quality runner for DGF here tonight. And then Owen Leach as their quarterback, too. Also, Brody Friend had a couple of nice runs here as well for this DGF team tonight. So quality guys they had to really key on, but you could tell he had his eye on that number one in the backfield and did a great job of not only reading, but also being in on some of those plays, staying low and getting some great tackles here tonight. Jack Ames is going to be an Enbridge Energy player of the game as well in the loss to DGF 26-20. Also part of our post-game show is RDK Enterprises Precision Player of the Game. This on the DGF side, I thought he still provided a lot of spark and a lot of great field position and opportunities, as he has throughout the entire season, obviously, with this DGF team. But you got to go with that number one, Jordan Summers. He's with the defense, the way they were playing tonight for the Hawley Nuggets, he was still able to create some opportunities. Even into that second half, you had several double-digit runs, nothing more than, I think the largest was 16. Yep, 16-yarder there in the third quarter of play. Otherwise, still had some really nice runs tonight. At 30 carries, he averaged 29 carries coming into this game per game and averaged 221 yards of offense. He still managed 177 yards against a very stifling defense that Hawley provided tonight despite the loss. But Precision Player of the Game, brought to you by RDK Enterprises in Hillsboro, comes from DGF. Jordan Summers is going to be that for us tonight in their victory 26-20. Let's see here. I don't think I even went through the stats yet, did I? Going through the stats, let's go through the individual and team stats here tonight before we wrap things up. For the Hawley Nuggets, they had 23 carries for 102 yards on the ground, 12 carries for 59 yards for Johnny Vetter, 1 carry for -1 yards for Levi Lelm and Derek Tibbetts, 10 carries for 44 yards and a touchdown. They had 145 yards in the air tonight. That was 9 of 18 for Noah Nelson, including 2 touchdowns. As a total, 247 yards total offense for the Hawley Nuggets. They ended the game with 10 first downs. They had 2 penalties for 15 yards and 1 turnover. That was a fumble here tonight. With the loss, they dropped to 2-4 against DGF here this evening. For the DGF Rebels, they had 51 carries for 241 yards on the ground tonight, 30 of those carries coming from Jordan Summers and 177 yards from him as well. Nick Wally with 9 carries for 34 yards. Owen Leach, 8 carries for 11 yards. Brody Friend with 3 carries for 20 yards. And Bodie DeVries with 1 carry for -1 yards tonight. Summers also added 2 touchdowns in his rushing here tonight to get his total up to 16 touchdowns on the year now for the DGF Rebels. As far as the passing game, only 7 attempts, 2 of 7 on the game for Owen Leach for 20 yards, so a total of 261 yards of offense tonight for the DGF Rebels. Rebels stay perfect on the year at 6-0 at the win, 26-20 over the Hawley Nuggets here this evening. They ended the game, team totals, with 16 first downs, had 3 penalties for 40 yards, and no turnovers in this ball game tonight. That'll do it for our coverage. We appreciate you tuning in to our football action tonight on yourliveevent.com. You can tune in to more Hawley Nuggets football action next week when it's homecoming week. Their homecoming game will be hosting the Breckenridge Cowboys. That will be coming up here next week. So we'll be have that broadcast for you as well on yourliveevent.com. And then, let's see, we've got some volleyball coming your way next week as well here on yourliveevent.com. You can check out the schedule online at yourliveevent.com. Signing off from Dale Skellerwood Athletic Complex, I'm Kurt Fillion for my color commentator, Nathan Stoa, and our videographer for tonight as well, Ben Grunke. We appreciate you tuning in to the coverage. Thanks also to all the many sponsors that make our broadcast possible you've been seeing during our breaks that we've had. We ask that you patronize them. At the very least, tell them thank you. Final score again, DGF 26-20 victors over the Hawley Nuggets here tonight in high school football action. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next week on yourliveevent.com for Hawley Nuggets football.